Hey, what's up? We are live at WizardShack on Twitter, everywhere, YouTube, all that shit. You can find us on podcasts, Discord, right? That's something I've been fixing to do for this year is to actually start using the Discord. It's a plan of mine.
I don't know what do you do? You just isn't just a chat room?
It's like a chat. It's like a messaging thing. A lot of people use it for like group chat. It's like a. I think we're too old, but a lot of people use it for that kind of shit. It's just a messaging app, and I guess it's like a forum. It's kind of like a forum. So remember like forums used to exist in the old internet.
Well, like Reddit.
Yeah, but remember, like, do you remember, like, pre-Reddit? You'd find these websites that would be a forum.
No. Well,
Oh, there was a
I
bunch,
mean,
man.
maybe if you like showed me an example, but
It used to be like anything. There used to be like these old forum websites where it'd just be like something like Reddit. Like, let's say you're into old cars, you'd find like an old cars website, and people would post on there about old cars, like shit like that.
oh yeah. Well, I guess you're right. And then Reddit kind of like uh, brought them all together.
Yeah, like Reddit, and I think Facebook too. I think Facebook groups or something. I don't really use Facebook. I actually absolutely don't use Facebook at all, so I have no clue with Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook to me is just so invasive. Like it just it's a. I feel like it's the easiest way to like for somebody to find you and like know where you live and all this shit. Well, I guess you can just Google that, but
I think the plus side, I think it's just people trying to fuck people they used to know. That's the whole platform is just trying to fuck, old people you went to high school with.
well,
That's the tagline now. You
it's
want to
like
fuck some people you used to know?
it seems like Instagram is kind of the same, like a similar function, and then Facebook's like the older, boomer version of that.
But I think it's more like people on a computer. I don't know. You don't have as much things. I don't know. There's not many options to do on Instagram, but I guess it's the same shit, really.
Well,
It's
it's
all the
just
same shit.
a post and then you message somebody. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah. So I saw with Andrew and Dave. I saw Gojira, the Gojira -1 movie. So that'll come into play here. It's fucking good. That's why I have to like bring it up. But shit was good, man. It was unexpected is a way to put it. Very unexpected. But this is the best of show. This is the best of and the worst of. So I feel like go through the worst of shit, right? First. Gotta build it up, right?
Yeah, I would think start with the bad stuff.
Yeah, build it up rather than build down, right? That seems nicer to do. Well, I realized this, man. I think I just don't watch a lot of TV shows, which is, I mean, I've watched all these shows, and it still feels like I don't watch a lot of shows. Because when I was looking at like the best of and worst ofs list, it's like I was like, I can't really think of a lot of shows that I've seen that are. I think if I don't like a show, I just don't watch it, or I'll watch like an episode of it, and it's like TV. I feel like it takes a lot more to get into it. It takes a lot to like leave a movie or stop watching a movie. You know what I mean?
Well, a movie's going to be like 2 to 3 hours max. A TV show is
It's a big investment. Like
yeah, like there's a lot of shows like Fargo and you know The Wire and shit like that I've heard is really good. It's just too daunting for me to
or Succession.
go
I'm
back.
not.
Yeah,
I
that's
can put
another
them.
one.
Yeah.
It's like too much. It's too much for me to dedicate. Like you literally have to like dedicate like you're putting in another job. Like
Oh yeah.
I don't know, 10
Yeah.
hours.
There's a couple shows that didn't make my list that I want to see. I want to see the show Silo. I want to see this Netflix anime called The Blue Eye Samurai. It's supposed to be good. So like both those are on my list of things to see. I haven't seen those. I've heard good things. I want to see the new Fargo series. So that kind of shit. I've seen the other Fargo series. I think I've just been turned off from the last one. It's pretty bad.
What was the last one? Was that the one with Kirsten Dunst?
No, that's old. It was the one with Chris Rock. It was very black focused and race
Chris
baity.
Rock was the lead in Fargo.
He was one of the leads. Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't his fault. It just wasn't a good story. It was one of the worst of the
What
Fargo
time period
seasons.
is it set in?
That was definitely the
The
1950s.
70s? Oh.
That one was earlier. Yeah, it was like the 50s. There are
All I've
some
seen
70s
is
ones.
a little bit of the guy from The Hobbit and Billy Bob Thornton.
That's the first season.
That's the first? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I have to say, like, all of them have been pretty good. Like, first one was the one of Billy Bob. The second one had who was in it? That guy from the those ghost movies.
Patrick Swayze?
Patrick something. Patrick Wilson? Patrick Wilson?
No, I thought you said Ghost with Demi Moore. That's Patrick Swayze.
Oh no, I'm thinking of those other ghost movies like The Conjuring. Patrick Wilson was the guy who was in it.
Oh,
That was a good season too.
Yeah.
Season 3 had
That guy's in The Watchmen. He's the owl guy.
yes. Yeah, and I was like that guy. I think the guy's really good.
He's the villain in the first Aquaman movie. It's like his brother or something.
Season 3 had Ewan McGregor in it and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That one was also very good.
Oh, she's like one of the main people.
Yes, yeah, and he plays two roles. Ewan McGregor. Season 4 was the last one with Chris Rock, and that one was not good. Like I really couldn't. That's why I was like, I've been turned off by that show because the last season wasn't.
What was bad about it?
Just wasn't a good story. I kept waiting for it to be good and never really got good. It just wasn't good. It's like all accounts. I like every other season. I wanted to like it. I went in there wanting to like it. Jason Schwartzman had a part that was kind of good, but that's about it. Andrew Bird is in it, which is a weird indie throwback from the 2000s era.
Plays like fucking violin.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
but he doesn't really. He like plays it like almost folk guitar, where he plucks the shit so it doesn't sound like a violin, and then he loops it to where there's like actual classical sounding stuff too.
Yeah, I remember liking Andrew Bird when I heard Andrew Bird.
Yeah, it's all right. The vocals are kind of this like whimpery, whiny shit. I was more interested in the instrumental stuff.
Yeah, so I haven't seen. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen, and I wonder if people actually see all these shows. That's what I was realizing. I was like, are people watching all these shows?
When
like,
you were building lists, did you just kind of peruse all the stuff going on and get a general consensus of what was happening, and then customize it to your own kind of
and then there are some shows that I'm gonna put on my worst list that I couldn't like fully watch, but I watched enough of them to know they're bad.
Well, some of them you don't want to put yourself through it, you know.
Yeah.
Like Down Periscope is one of those things. Like the whole time, I was just like thinking, like, let's just end it here.
But I can say that with shows. With movies, I watched all these bad movies. I actually generally watched all the bad movies that are in here. So I've seen those. It just shows. Because shows, that's a lot to put yourself through. Like, I'm not going to put myself through 10 episodes of something I don't like, but I know it's not good the rest of the way. You know, like, where it's going. So worst TV show.
Like watching Rings of Power, and that was only a few episodes. I really felt like
that was a good move. I was
putting myself through it rather than like wanting to watch it.
Yeah, that was a good move. Very respectable move there. Not worth watching.
Well, I was actually going to keep going until you told me that like you need to like quit while you're ahead and don't put yourself through the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't say like even to hate watch it wasn't good. Like no, wasn't really worth it. But these are the worst TV shows I saw this year. So this is in quote. I'm not saying for everyone. This is my opinion. Worst things I saw.
Worst TV shows.
And even this first one
applied to like basic cable and streaming, like it's all encompassed.
Yeah, and even some of this, like this one, I watched it and I kind of liked it because it was just so like ridiculous. But number 7, I couldn't come up with 10 worst shows because I didn't see 10 worst shows. I just didn't watch them. MILF Manor came out in early 2023. I saw all of this. This was quite the show here. You heard about this, right?
Yeah, a lot of people that I used to work with watched it, and they loved it. I mean,
Yeah,
but it was
super
also admitted
super
that it was
weird.
kind of creepy at the same time. You know, it's like a guilty pleasure, but
That's how I watched it. It was definitely bad, but I watched this. Nah. Uh I mean, they're also not even like there was like maybe one hot one on the whole show, and these ones here were not those hot ones, so believe me that. Like the one in the middle was like desperate to like fuck anyone, and all the dudes didn't want to fuck her. Same with the one on the right. The one on the left was like almost like 65, and none of the dudes really want to fuck her either. She like was with the guy who was like 18.
I thought they were on there because that's what they're looking for to begin with.
I think yeah, I guess they were tricked into it. Like both sides were tricked into it. No, but I think you're right. It's like they were trying to go on a show where they would date younger guys, and then the guys who were the sons of the Mills, which is weird. The plot of this is
Yeah,
there's these
that's where I
Mills in the
heard it got
manor.
really kind of creepy. Is with that
Yeah,
and
really weird. And
uncomfortable.
even
You know, like I wouldn't want to be on a show where you know I'm getting like interviewed after some guys trying to fuck my mom.
yeah, and then also like if you like the one in the middle, her son wasn't super interested in any of the women there, and the mom was like trying to be like, oh, you should date this one or that, because like if you weren't interested in the women, they'd like kind of kick you out of the house. So and that would mean like the mom would get kicked out too. So it was like the mom and the son would both get kicked out. So she was trying to like entice her son to like have sex with one of these women just so she could be on the show. It was very weird. It's creepy. Number 6, Ahsoka. Had to sit through that.
Yeah,
But
ayahuasca.
also I'm putting this low on the list because it was definitely one of my worst shows I've watched, but I still like I'm keeping it down there at the bottom. It wasn't that bad. It was watchable, but I would say pretty bad. You could watch all our episodes on that where we went through it. Number 5,
Yeah,
Mandalorian
we
season
did
3.
cover a lot of that shit. I think we almost reviewed every single episode.
Oh, we did. We went through all of it.
Wait, I thought you liked the Mandalorian.
Yeah, but not this season. I thought this season was really bad. This was definitely worse than Ahsoka. Like this season 3 was worse than Ahsoka.
Who are all these motherfuckers? Like the Power Rangers?
They're like all these other boring Mandalorian characters that are boring. And it's just stupid. That was the thing is like it was kind of nice when it was like one guy who was a Mandalorian. Then they brought in these other fucking douchebags and helmets that just say
They
this is the way.
oversaturated.
Yeah, and it was boring. Like I don't know, this season was not good. And it was whatever that douchey guy who does Ahsoka. He's like the new Star Wars runner. He's just really bad. Whoever that guy is just bad. He doesn't get along with Favreau. I heard like he's just not good. And now he's like the head of creative there. So it feels a lot like Ahsoka. Like they all kind of start to feel like Dave Filoni is the guy's name. They all start to feel like each other, and it's weird and not good. Number 4 was Wheel of Time season 2. You probably don't even know about this.
What the fuck channel is this on? Sci-Fi?
Amazon.
That's that British woman who's usually blonde from
I like her.
Rosamund Pike. She's in Gone Girl. I don't know anyone else on this shit.
Yeah.
Is that Zoe Kravitz on the left? Looking like an elf?
No. This is I saw the first season of this and it wasn't too bad. The second season was really bad. I tried to because this is what's happening on Amazon. They have 2 major fantasy shows on Amazon that cost a lot of money. One is the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings show, and the other is Wheel of Time. So they're kind of like splitting money and budget where this year will be the new Wheel of Time season. The next year will be Lord of the Rings. Next year after that will be Wheel of Time. So this year was Wheel of Time season 2.
Have you watched this to know what it's about? Or
yeah, I know all what it's about.
this
and
seems
it's a
like
popular
something
book.
they're trying to sell in China. You know, like that Matt Damon dragon movie.
It could be. It could be. I mean, that guy is Asian at the top left, the bodyguard type character.
Yeah.
But it's a very feminist thing, and it's like everyone in this fantasy world that's a woman can have superpowers, and then men can't. It's a very feminist focused story. So,
Well, what's that white guy with the flame shit coming out his dick?
so he is like the exception to the rule. He's like the one guy who can have this magic crap, and he's called the dragon. But it's like
He's the villain.
he's sort of like the Neo. No, he's kind of like the Neo of the world, but a little bit like a villain too. It's strange. There's some elements of that too. It's not. It's
I
not
kind of
good,
want to
man.
check this out. It looks like it might be like funny bad,
No, it's not funny bad. It's really not. The first season's actually not bad.
insanely boring.
It's kind of boring and then confusing. Like the second season when it picked up, I only saw a few episodes, so I can't like admit to it, but I knew it was bad just because I liked the first season. I couldn't get through this one. They also replaced a character. This guy on the right here, this white guy in the bottom right, was a different actor in season 1. And I was so confused because they like started talking. Like I remember the character and they were like referring to this guy as the character, and I was just so confused. It's like, why does this guy look different? And I looked like it's a recasting, and that's like, I don't know, it just doesn't work, man. When someone is like a major character and then gone, I feel like that's
to me, one of the
a
most
blunder.
egregious is Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle in the Iron Man series.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still kind of feel like that's the main. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, part of
always
it
felt
is
weird.
because you're going from like a kind of light-skinned black guy to like, Don Cheadle's real dark. So it's not like you can even pass him off as a lookalike. You just
they're very, very different people.
Want to forget that he existed, but that's
And
hard.
like attitude,
honestly,
too.
like Iron Man 1 is the reason why that whole fucking franchise is good.
And like attitude, I always feel like Don Cheadle's kind of like boring, and that Terrence Howard guy was like very, like he was charismatic in that role. Like he was good in that role, even though he didn't have like a huge part. But
that Pit movie and shit.
Yeah. No, I remember like I liked his character in the movie, and then like him getting replaced, I was like, oh, okay, maybe Don Cheadle can do that. I was like, he's gonna have to be like very.
Money?
I think so. Oh no, it was yeah. So he wanted a lot of money because it made a lot of money, and they're like, oh no. He wanted more money than Robert Downey Jr. He said he's like, I should
get the fuck out of here, man.
Exactly. Yeah, it was ridiculous, like what he was asking for.
Yeah, that's delusional. Who the fuck is
it was super delusional. Like that's where it's like I don't blame Marvel on what they did for that.
Barely even in the movie that often.
Yeah, and back then I think it wasn't even Marvel. It was I think it was Paramount that was doing the movies back then. That was the thing. Those movies were good because they weren't Disney. They weren't Disney at all, and that was why they were good. That's part of it. That's a big part of it. There's too much there's too many cooks in the kitchen right now with Marvel. That's what happens. Like the first couple movies from Marvel, I know all the Iron Mans, and then I guess some of the other ones, they were all not Disney. Everything since Disney has been bad with those movies. Not that I think the other ones are the greatest. I think the first Iron Man, I think is a really good action movie. Even the second one's all right. Number 3 here is Willow. This is another thing I couldn't fully watch, but enough to know this was really bad. The poster is cool.
Yeah, and then I mean, what probably makes it even worse is them later on complaining about shit of it being taken down from streaming.
Well, that's another thing. Is like,
there's a reason why they do that. There's like a tax deduction that you get when you take stuff out of circulation and no longer have it on any kind of possible syndication. You automatically get a percentage of the investment back.
Yeah, and it's a royalties thing too, because it's like if you have it up there, that means you have to sort of pay out. Like you're paying for the rights of this Willow series to the creators, or kicking back some of the streaming money. So it wasn't worth it to have it, which tells you something if they don't believe in it at all.
No, and that's embarrassing. It's not even like they have hope for becoming like a cult classic, because there's a lot of things that have failed initially, and then after time, people discover it or rediscover it, or it just like it gains like some new appreciation. They don't even
Yeah,
want
you
to
know what?
bother with that. They have no faith or hope of that ever happening at
That's
all.
also pretty crazy too, because it's like, what if someone did like this? You can't even like if someone did like this, you can't even find this anymore. This
Well,
is
what you
way
would have to have done is,
be
like
down
when
with it.
people used to have, yeah, that, or like when you have VHS tapes, you got to make a copy.
Or maybe they'll put this like sell this to, I don't know, TBS or something. Maybe this will be in syndication somewhere. That's probably. I mean, they now probably have the rights to do whatever the fuck they want to do with it. Like they should. Or maybe it'll be on Amazon or something. Maybe it'll be somewhere else. Number two, this was really bad. I only saw the
Wait, who's
one
the villain of
special.
Willow? Is it a witch again?
It Yes, kind of. From what I saw, kind of. I might have not seen
Who
enough.
plays them? Are they hot at all, or
No, wasn't anything stand out like that. I think she's
just bland?
this older woman up here.
Can't even see him.
Yeah, you got these lesbian characters in the mix. Um, Doctor Who specials were really bad. This was embarrassingly bad, and I'm not a Doctor Who fan, but for anyone who was, I feel
Oh,
bad
they
for
went
them.
back to David Tennant.
He now has changed over to the next Doctor. Like the Doctor like morphs every so often,
Well,
and
I thought the last Doctor was that uh,
woman, it
motherfucker
was a
from
girl.
the House of the Dragon show.
It was a woman. I don't know if she was from that.
Oh, then I'm thinking of an older one. But you know the guy I'm talking about, the guy from House of the Dragon who plays the one of the Targaryens.
Yes, I believe I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh
how
no,
many?
he's been gone for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Now you wanna see who it is? It's this it's like a gay black guy now.
That's the Doctor Who.
Yeah, and he like because every so often the Doctor
It's
morphs
a
into a different
guy that
character.
looks like a woman in the back.
Well, no, it's this guy. It was David Tennant, but he morphed into a different character, and I'll show you the guy, and he's going to be taking over as Doctor Who. Is this gay black guy in a skirt dancing in a nightclub? That's the new Doctor Who. That's why there's a lot of RIP Doctor Who tweets going on because of this. It's ridiculous. Like I just don't think they understand who are the people who like these shows. Like they just single
Yeah,
out these.
I used to like Doctor Who. It was really weird and creepy because of how kind of low budget it was, and um, they had like a lot of Illuminati connected shit, and the Daleks were kind of cool because they looked like really um,
They always did
unthreatening,
very retro
goofy
look.
pieces of shit, but then they would like automatically laser somebody and they'd
Yeah, they would
evaporate.
do like cool shit. Exactly. Like they would actually be threatening
But they
by
were
their
like
action.
so, uh, they were unthreatening and goofy, and they had like that dialect noise and shit. And then all of a sudden, like they're just murdering tons of people and stuff, and they look like just floating garbage cans. It's like if C-3PO was a villain.
Yeah, like some gay robot. Yeah. This was the worst show I've seen. I forgot this was 2023. I had to look it up to make sure. I was like, this was 2023. It was Velma season 1. I saw a lot
What's
of
so bad
this.
about that?
Oh, dude, this was just so bad. Like all the white people were villains. There's not Scooby. This is a Scooby Doo show. Scooby Doo's not in it.
Oh, this is
Shaggy
like
is a black guy. It's
peak
like,
woke.
oh yeah, this is peak woke. Countless problems. There's nothing someone could actually like about this. Also, like they're supposed to be in high school. There's a lot of weird sexual lesbian shit in it, which is just kind of weird. Like they're supposed to be in high school. Like I don't know. Very creepy, bad show. Mindy Kaling is not funny, or attractive. So there's that. Yeah, this was the worst show that I saw. But I kind of think I've avoided like bad shows, so I can't count my opinion on this that much. Because again, if I saw something that was bad, I just sort of turned it off. But I'm gonna throw that in here. Best shows I have 10 for. I have 10 best shows that I saw this year. 10 best shows. The first number 10, What We Do in the Shadows. I went through these and I actually had to rank them. It took me a little bit to rank them because I was like, where do I like these? Where do they
It's on
fall?
FX.
Yeah, I mean, this is on FX. This is a good show. It's been good. It's not without its wokeness, so don't get me wrong. There is like a gay Spanish character who is in there and has woke moments, but the overall show is funny and always pretty good. And it's been good. It's one of the shows that all the stuff I've seen, 5 seasons of this has all been good.
Is it related to the Kata Waititi guy, or whatever the fuck his name is?
It was because there was a movie with him and Jermaine Clement that they did the first movie.
I thought he was like a producer or some shit of it.
Oh yeah, he's still got to have his money in it because he still had the original idea. Yeah. But you know what's funny? Like I'll say, like I like that movie a lot, and you'd be like, "Oh, the original's better." I think the show ultimately has been way better than that movie. That movie's good too. I like it, but the What We Do in the Shadows movie, that's what created this. The movie
with Johnny Depp.
No, it has Taika Waititi.
Oh, I'm thinking of Dark Shadows, that Tim Burton movie.
Yeah. This has Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement,
Ava Green.
Yeah, this has like the people from the Flight of the Conchords in the original movie.
Yeah, I thought the Taika Waititi guy and Flight of the Conchords were connected.
They are connected to this. They're like the producers of this show. But as a TV show and as like something episodic, it's definitely been better than that original movie. And I think that's a lot of it is because
like
Matt Berry
Office type Parks and Rec 30 Rock style thing.
Yeah, kind of, because they're a documentary crew following them. But that was how the movie was too. The movie was like, yeah, I guess the movie did follow that format. But Matt Berry in this show is just like genius. So it's like he's hilarious in it, and can't get enough of him. I'd say
from the IT Crowd and Mr. the Almighty Boosh or something.
Yeah, he's in the Mighty Boosh, Snuffbox, and
Snuffbox. Yeah,
Toast of London. He has a show. He's all around good. I feel like you can't really go wrong with Matt Berry.
Doesn't he have a pretty serious like musical side project thing too?
I think so. I liked all his music. I've seen his music. It's really good. All the things I've
seen him do
good.
Like live, like a touring band.
I could see it, man, because he's good. Like the stuff is good. But I'll have to say, it's like if he wasn't, I feel like if he wasn't, a little famous, I think none of that stuff would be big. You know what I mean? Like again, I don't think
a lot of actors parlay. Yeah. Like Bruce Willis, he's got a band. You probably didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that one.
Johnny
he's
Depp
like does he have dementia now? He's like he probably can't even play guitar now.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think it was like 2 years ago. Him and Robert De Niro, they found out like they just can't act anymore. Oh no, not Robert De Niro, somebody else.
Man, no, you're right on Robert De Niro. I've seen him in some stuff recently. You're right on that.
Yeah, The Irishman. That happened right before The Irishman, but nobody told him to stop making it.
No, I've seen like that. He's in some shitty comedy movie with I was thinking about putting on the list too. That Maniscalco,
Bad Grandpa,
Maniscalco, something like that. That Sebastian.
I thought you were talking about the Zac Efron movie with him and. No,
it's from this year. Sebastian Maniscalco or something.
Yeah,
it's not funny. And his movie was not funny.
Like that guy paid for a ton of YouTube ads because they constantly are in the rotation of shit you get.
Super boomer Italian comedy. They'll love it, kind of thing. Number 9 was Beef, and I like Beef. So
yeah, I heard a lot of good things about it. The Asian guy from Walking Dead's in it.
Yeah, he was really good in it. He's good. I mean, the story's good. He's definitely the standout. He's a good actor. It's like it shows you he should be in a lot more things.
Didn't we see a movie he was in where people like are going crazy for some reason or something in a office building?
Oh yeah, he is in that. Yeah. I remember exactly. It's like I know exactly what you're talking about. I forget what it's called. Isn't that like all first person or some bullshit or?
I don't know how. I feel like
there's some gimmick.
Watched some of it, but not all of it. Not enough for me to remember what it was.
Yeah, I remember
But
that. But
Steve
this season,
Hume,
this
right?
this
And
show was really
didn't
good.
he, doesn't
Stephen
he
Hume,
have
yes.
a? He was in a movie that was Oscar nominated and shit. Where it's
Something
like
Minari, something like
yeah,
that.
Minari. It's like an Asian family that moves to the United States and they try farming and like a horrible bunch of horrible shit happens.
Yeah, and he's also good in I mean, I have to say I think he's just a good actor. He's good in Nope too. Like the little part he has there is good. I think he's all around pretty good. I think it's maybe this is me being woke, but I feel like if he wasn't Asian, I think he'd get a lot more parts because I think he is a good actor. I think he's kind of typecast though now.
Well, he might be getting a lot more parts than you're aware of in a different
That
market.
could be the case. I mean, I think this show will actually be enough to hype him up. Number 8, the season 3 of Righteous Gemstones. I really liked it, but I think it is the worst of the seasons. I'll say that. It wasn't their best, but it was good. You had all the cast of characters back. Plus,
Yeah, I I got my HBO stuff taken off the Apple TV because it's so old. So I'm only on the season with Eric Andre.
did you finish that one?
I only got a few episodes. I was like watching my parents' dog, and they had it on some kind of like rerun or some shit. And it was like an episode where the father reunites with like this old guy who like his father was like a kind of drug runner and like he worked for him as a
Yeah,
muscle.
wrestler
then
thing. There's a wrestling
and then
story in
this
that.
guy's like almost having sex with his girlfriend in the bar or the restaurant, and he says like, you're really making everybody uncomfortable. And then they meet the guy in the parking lot and they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, no, that show's fucking good.
Yeah, that season I think might have been the best one too. Like,
The second.
yeah, I think so. I
Well,
mean, the
yeah, the
first
part
and the
with Eric
second were
Andre
better.
is Eric Andre and him are trying to like establish some beach resort thing, but then
Yeah, Zion.
John
Yeah,
Goodman's like not into it.
yeah. It goes good though. There's a twist to that whole thing. But here's the season 3 trailer. Just a teaser. This is quick. I don't even show a lot in this.
It was a long ride, but I knew eventually I would make it to the top.
Can we get taken down for this, or it's okay?
I think it's quick.
I'm the main decider.
We're all deciders, Jesse.
Oh, that's some Illuminati shit.
Grow up.
It's time!
We're picking up where Eli Gemstone left off, a man who's done this job for like thousands of years and is America's Jesus daddy.
These are not people of God. They're entertainers, performers, charlatans.
They're fucking crazy. Super religious, love their guns.
One of our largest benefactors is departing.
You gotta give us another shot.
Won't you battle for me?
Fucking Simpkins. I'll drive on behalf of my family.
Ew, what are you doing?
Ow,
Jesse.
Hold your hands. Just let it happen.
Oh,
Let it happen, fuckers.
Ugh,
On behalf of my family, I will drive too.
ew, it's so awkward.
I like a Steve Zahn in the show. He was a good
Yeah,
character. The story wasn't that great though. I will say that it wasn't the best.
Steve Zahn's like always okay as the kind of comic relief guy to the lead, like who's hotter than him or something. He actually had this one leading role, this movie called Strange Wilderness, which is
I like
not
Strange
that
Wilderness.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
Jonah Hill
not
is like
good,
a
but
gay
it's
character.
like it's
pretty good.
kind of it's almost like a boner. It's like a boner.
I feel like it's Happy Madison too. I think it's Happy Madison. I think it's Adam Sandler's. I'm gonna
like
say
a
I'm pretty sure.
boner wildlife documentary.
I feel like it's somehow related to Adam Sandler.
There's a
They
woman
got
I
that one
work
guy
with
in it.
that looks just like the sister from this, and every time I see them, I can't like unsee it or take them serious as a person.
Yeah, because they got the Grandma's Boy guy in it. I'm right. Yeah, it's Happy Madison. Alan Covert is in it. That's anytime he's in any movie, you know it's actually made by Adam Sandler because he wouldn't be any other movie if it was anyone's choice other than him.
He's one of the gay guys in Big Daddy.
Yes, he's Grandma's Boy, the main guy of Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, and
good in that part.
Is he
like that part really fit him?
Montana guy in The Water Boy.
He's the gay guy with the bulldog dog and Little Nicky too. You know, like
I don't remember much
dog.
of Little Nicky. That shit grossed me out.
Yeah, no, I saw some channel like talking about it. And I was like, wow, this movie's fucking really weird and bad and awful.
It's real bad.
Like Dana Carvey as like a ref with like a demon in him. It was like terrible. Oh man, that's embarrassing, that show. Speaking of embarrassing, Star Trek Picard. Speaking of embarrassing, just say Star Trek. Star Trek Picard season 3 was really good. Awesome, actually. In fact, this was great. I almost was like debating like, should this be higher on my list?
Really?
Yeah, I was like thinking like I thought about it. It's like, and I kept going like, what did I like better?
Got that big titted motherfucker.
Yeah, they got her in there. Jesse something, right?
What did
7 and 9
Red Letter Media crew think of it?
Oh, they loved it, man. This was like, honestly, man, this was
Did they
legit.
Go through
like,
all of it?
Yeah, they did,
shit,
and they went through all
Data's
each episode. They brought everyone back. Yeah, they brought everyone back because this was basically the send off to the end of, like, this is the end of Picard and anything. Like, this was really good because the movies were like the last time you saw these people, and they never really ended it good. So this was like a true good ending. It was really good. Like, I have to say, this was great. Like, it was really good, especially if you like the Next Generation. This was great. It was actually like a nice ending. Like, it was surprising. It was surprising.
Been this missing because they died.
No, everyone's alive. They're actually lucky. The whole crew of TNG is alive. And I would think honestly, the only one who's probably up there is Patrick Stewart. He's probably the one that's up there the most. So everyone else, and then
Jerry Ryan, she was dating this politician, and there was some scandal where he was paying money for her to have sex,
pouring her out, right? Yeah,
yeah, he was getting
MK Ultra. Yeah, and she's not in the Next Generation. She was kind of an add-in, and they had some other add-ins. They had some characters from Voyager that showed up in a little bit. They had some stuff that were like didn't really make sense to Picard, but they were in there. And then they had like this other lady here is from I guess the other Picard seasons that I didn't see. So there was a little bit of connection to the other seasons, but it was like 5 minutes. It was funny how they like disregarded all the other seasons. This was just like basically TNG reunion. And it was so good, the fact that like it was a new writer, new director. He was like really into the old stuff, and it's all done. It's like they don't like, every Star Trek fans wants them to keep going with this new guy, but like I don't think the powers that be want him, which again, they never want to do what the nerds like. You know, this is like, it's very liked. That it shows you if people like it, they don't want to do that these days. But it was definitely good to see. Worf and Riker. Riker was in there, a big part of it. LeVar Burton's has 2 daughters, and I think his actual daughter played one of his daughters. The only one who died in this is Data. His character his character sacrifices.
No, I thought he died in real life.
No, he's alive. His character Data sacrifices himself, but like they kind of had a bullshit way of putting him back, which that wasn't great. I mean, there are bad episodes in the season. Like, not every episode is good, but then there are some episodes in the season that are up there for some of the best Star Trek I've seen. So I'll say it's like there's some really good shit in this one. Very good. Also, good tone. Had a good serious tone. It really like swayed the line of newer Star Trek and older Star Trek, and actually made it feel one, which I think no one's done. That's why I like that. I forget this guy's name is. Whoever did this, like the guy who did this was genius. Like, and I know Red Letter Media thought the same thing. Like, they liked this. It was shocking. This whole season was an anomaly because no one would thought this would be good. So this was
Why?
actually nice.
Everything up until this point was terrible.
Yeah, it was like a really, really bad show. I've only heard like season 1 of Picard and season 2
What
were
happened?
like
Did they get
terrible.
like different production, writing, and directing?
No, well, different director and writer. So basically, this Kurtzman guy has taken over new Star Trek for like a long time, and all the Star Trek people hate him. And he basically like was like, I give up on Picard. I'll let this guy come in, and they let this other guy come in, and he like was like awesome. And it was like, and then I think now he's pissed that actually people liked it, kind of thing, because Kurtzman was the guy running this whole thing.
Though, it's like there's this, and then there's that Star Trek movie version with the Chris Pine guy and shit.
Yeah, that guy's not that bad either. I didn't
No, I'm not saying he's
mind
bad
Chris
or
Pine.
anything. It's just like there's these two different, like there's like the TV version and the movie version, and both have gone on for several movies or seasons.
Yeah, no. Okay, the guy's name is Terry Matalas, by the way. Terry Matalas, and he worked on. He's young. He's probably he's not that young. He's 48. He worked on. He's from New Jersey too. All these people,
No,
man.
that's not young at all.
He looks young. You look at his picture, you think you saw a picture of him, you think he's like 30. He looks like that.
Well, maybe
But,
the pictures from another time.
Some of the first things he worked on were like 12 Monkeys. He's worked on good shit. Like he's got some good shit in the pipe there.
So he's got some Terry Gilliam connection.
Yeah, he worked on Enterprise as a writer back in 2003, like early Star Trek in 2003.
Did you see
12
any
Monkeys.
of the 12 Monkeys TV reboot?
I didn't see that.
I didn't
never
either.
mind. That's
I
what
just
this guy worked
I
on.
saw the trailers at the time, but I didn't watch any of it.
No, this guy worked on that. He worked on the 12 Monkeys TV show as well. But and that makes me actually think it could be good because this guy is good. Like this writer guy is really good. He knows his shit, or unless he just knows how to like. He knew what like Star Trek fans want, which I think a lot of people don't. You know, like a lot of these Hollywood people, they don't know what the people actually want to like appease. Like you want to appease the old fans and then get new fans. Like,
Well, it might not even be about them thinking what they want. It's like they're just forcing them to want what they want.
you know what? You know what? This guy. You know what? I actually realized this guy feels a lot like James Gunn, but like not as like.
He looks like him. Do you have a photo?
No, just his feeling of the way he writes and directs. It feels like James Gunn, but not so jokey. So I don't know. It's hard to explain.
The trauma.
No, he's not. But it's a weird. If you know, I don't know. If you know, kind of thing. Number 6, we talked about this. One Piece. I loved One Piece. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it'd be higher.
No, there's some things. There's some things I was like, do I like it better? And I was like, I kept going through. I was like, what do I like better? And then I like stacked them on top of each other because like, do I like that better? This is a personal list. This isn't a.
Well, if people are interested, we have several episodes covering One Piece a lot more in depth.
And this was a great show. I have to say, it's a great show. I think
We
a lot of
should,
people like it.
Like link that stuff, but it might be hard to dig up.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain person. I wouldn't say this is for everyone. You know, if you're like 50 years old, you might not like One Piece, but I would assume a lot of I'd say everyone, you know, mid 30s and younger will probably like this.
What happens at 50?
I just don't think it's. I just think a lot of those people don't know anything that relates to Japanese animation. I think we have a little bit more of a, lead into any kind of thing like that. You know, like we had Pokemon as kids, we had Sailor Moon, we had some things that like interjected into our childhood that I don't think would have been even someone 40. They would have not had these things. You know, we didn't even have the most of it. We didn't have the most of that. We just had a little touch of it, I feel like. Now kids like have tons of this. Like animation these days is like Japanese animation. We just had like a couple shows. You know, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Sailor Moon, like that's what we had. And I know there are other shows that were older or whatever, but they weren't mainstream
Sailor Moon?
popular. Sailor Moon was popular, I remember, as in
Yeah, no,
You know,
I just I don't remember much of it. I remember
I never saw it. I think it's kind of like a lesbian show.
I remember this awkward interview with what was that fucking? It's like a gaming TV show where Olivia Munn was dressed as a Sailor Moon character interviewing
G4?
Aziz Ansari.
It was G4?
Yeah, it was G4. Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't know Aziz Ansari would have made that. That's cool.
yeah, he got weirdly canceled for
Yeah, it's
really
been
no reason.
I think it's been 20 years since G4 aired too. So
And that
was
was
back
like
a while.
right around the time of his TV show coming out.
oh
And
yeah,
his specials were doing really well. Like he really got fucked over hard for
yeah, he definitely did.
Not
It didn't
much.
seem like he ever recovered from it either. You know, like
no, I
don't
know,
hear
yeah,
about
it's
him
kind
ever.
of fucked. I mean,
But
I never
I
really
still
liked him that much. I'm just remembering like his career at the time and how hard it got derailed because
Yeah,
he had
I
some
still think
really
he could
good
do
specials.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his
he was
comedy
on,
specials are pretty good.
Parks and Rec, and all of it just seemed to disintegrate off of
Yeah.
some bullshit.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I don't think it's funny how I don't think he's someone who deserved it either. I'm sure I don't know. He might still be able to sell live tickets, and he probably does. I don't know what Aziz Ansari does. I really don't.
No, from what
hope
it
he sells
sounded like,
tickets.
it was really mild of an allegation that got
No,
caught
it was like
in
not
a
an
lot more
allegation.
serious of
It was
stuff.
a bad date. It was a bad date. That's it.
Yeah,
bad date.
and
That he didn't even try to like. I don't think he tried to have sex with. It was like just a regular bad date that got popular on the internet, which is like horrible. Like that's
I
terrible.
just think the timing of it was connected to like either the inception or the peak of the Me Too stuff, to where anything that happened was just perceived worse than it actually was, no matter what it actually happened.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
nobody was questioning anything reported whatsoever. Like anything initially said was fact, and nobody questioned it, and that was it. And so you were just kind of done.
Well, speaking of Indians, the first time I ever heard of this animation was from a friend I had who was Indian. He liked the One Piece, the anime, and he told me about it, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And then I saw it, and I was like, no, I don't like this. And I still, this was going back years ago. Like I'm telling you, like the first time I heard of One Piece was in 2017. So I heard of it then. No, I mean I tried watching it. Just like I'm not a big anime fan, but even and subsequently after this show, I tried to like watch it. I watched the first season of One Piece. Just still like I don't know. It's not my thing. I'm not a big anime person other than like Samurai Champloo or like Studio Ghibli, like kind of the more serious.
What's Samurai
pieces.
Champloo?
It was on Adult Swim. It has like these samurais and they're like there's like rap music in the background.
Oh,
It's really good. That show is it's only one season. Yeah, I think Rizuka. It was by the company that did the animation during the Kill Bill sequence, like that really gory Kill Bill sequence. So it's like a good animator guy.
Yeah, that's
it's a good season. Good season. It's one season. Samurai
They
Champloo.
introduced Lucy Liu's character that she's an assassin who becomes the head of the Yakuza, and then it goes to the sequence where they're all like at dinner and she cuts their heads off.
Yeah, and the Samurai Champloo, it's like it's one season, but it all kind of wraps itself up. It was like meant to be one season. It's like 20-something episodes, and that's it. And it's like you could tell it was obviously meant to just be those. It wasn't meant to be anything more. So there's that. But One Piece, I know it's like on. I think it's at like 1,000 episodes. I don't know. It's like crazy how many episodes of this anime are. I'm gonna search it. How many episodes? I mean, it's been going on since like 1998. There's 1,088 episodes of this show, the anime of One Piece, and movies. I think there's like 3 or 4. I'm sorry, not 3 or 4. There's 15 movies. 15 movies. 1,088 episodes. So There's a lot of this show. So if you like it, you got a lot of content to go see.
It's interesting how like that franchise has existed for so long, and then this can come out, and it's almost like it's completely new for people. Like it never happened.
Well, yeah, it was for me. Yeah, I'm that kind of crowd because I don't like anime. So
No,
yeah.
you knew about it though.
I knew of it, but for a lot of people, it will be completely new, and we'll introduce.
Yeah,
them.
I got to finish the second season of The Bear. I started
Yeah,
that,
this was up here for me.
and what's that fucking superhero movie? I mean,
The Boys.
Yeah, that and The Boys. I started the second season and never finished either.
Yeah, I love the bear. I like the bear. There's some they're probably like the best episodes in the bear are in season 2. But then there are some like okay episodes, but like there's 2 episodes that
Do you
really
mean
stand
episodes,
out.
or do you mean like clips?
There's 2 episodes that really stand out, and I think the other episodes are okay. I think I overall like the first season better, but there's 2 episodes in this season that are better than the first season, and better than anything they've done.
It seems like it's the same with music. Like after the first album, it's really hard to follow up certain things, especially if there's a lot of expectations and
Yeah. And also a lot of this is like the one episode is a cousin episode where it just deals with him. That's all I'll say.
yeah,
And, like,
I saw a review kind of breakdown of
I'm
it.
sure they talk about that
He
episode. I
goes-
know what they're going to talk about.
He goes like to work at a high-end restaurant, and he
Yes,
just
that's the
eats
best
spoons
episode of the
and-
season.
and forks the whole time. But then he has like a newfound appreciation of what they're doing, and then he wants to try and treat his daughter and family better, and just realizes like how much of a piece of shit, and he's kind of been wasting his life away bullshitting around, doing drugs and stuff.
Yeah, and also his like capability of like he is capable of being in this business outside of whatever he was doing. So it was a good story. Like it was a very encompassed story where it was almost like a little short film. And then
It's
the
nice
second
to see
episode,
the guy from Walking Dead, like the first couple seasons, the psycho guy, who's Rick's.
Merle.
No, not Merle. The
Negan.
Italian guy.
Negan?
No, the brother who kills himself and leaves.
Oh,
the
Shane.
Yeah, it's nice to see him still like in
He's
stuff.
good. He's always good. That was again the next episode of this season was the Christmas episode, which is a flashback to when Shane is still alive and Jamie Lee Curtis is the mom, and it was just like this nightmare Christmas
I've seen
scenario.
a bunch of clips of
That
this
was the best
with,
episode. Like,
who's
that
the
was
guy
probably
from
the best
Better
episode.
Call Saul and Mr. Show.
Yeah, and then what's his name? I know what you're talking about.
Fuck.
Yeah, drawing a blank, getting Bob
But
Odenkirk.
I've seen like so many.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk.
I've seen so many clips of this whole like season or sequence getting used over and over again. Not like memes, but sorta. I guess they kind of get memed out.
Yeah, that episode was great. Like really good. That's like also kind of a standalone episode. Like both those episodes were both very standalone. And then I don't know, there's some characters in this show I don't like. Like I don't like the fat guy who has a cooking show on YouTube. I'm not a fan of him.
Matty
I think he
Matheson.
sucks.
Yeah, he's very obnoxious.
And then I think I'm a little bit alone in this, but I don't like the black girl. I think she's a very very big.
She's
No, but like the internet loves her. The internet loves her.
Obnoxious fuck. No, that was my.
I'm not opposed to her character. I just think she's an overactor. I think she's an overactor, and like to me, I sometimes I'll be able to figure out.
I think part of it is just her character is very unlikable, and then in turn,
I
you
guess
just,
so.
you
I think
don't
she's
like the person
try
playing
hard.
it, you know.
I just think she's a try hard as an
Like, haven't
actress.
you found that?
I just don't think she's a good actress.
Where they continually get casted in parts you don't like, and then all of a sudden you're like just assuming that's how the person is off screen, and you don't like the actor, even though they could.
Yeah, this is also going to sound
different than the role.
Terribly racist to me, but also the black guy I think sucks too. I think he's also an overactor.
The cupcake guy.
And then I think the Latina woman is also not a good actress. So I mean, I guess I'm sounding racist, but I think they're all
No,
not
I
good.
think what you're saying is like some of the bit parts get too much, like screen
Well,
time.
maybe
or
also the main
investment
guy.
into-
I think the main guy might outshadow them a little bit too, and even cousin outshadows them a little bit too. It could be that. Even the cousin guy at first, I was like, this guy's a little bit of an overactor. Then it kind of grew on you, the character.
Well,
His
part of it
character
also
grew on
is,
you.
like, the characters do really stupid, annoying shit for no reason to like fuck over the guy trying to run the business. You know, like why
Like,
is
he just
this
feels
guy,
super realistic. I
like
think
why
that's
is
what's
this
nice
guy
about him.
investing all his time into making fucking cupcakes instead of actually making fucking cupcakes for the orders they had coming in? You know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, and then what I like about the show is like they fucking
But
take him
definitely
to
worth
task
watching.
and say like, listen, man, if you need to get your shit together, or you're fucking done here.
Yeah. Definitely 100% worth watching The Bear, both seasons. So
Yeah,
There-
no, I'm
it
gonna-
has
I'm
its,
gonna
it has its
revisit
faults,
it.
but it's worth
Actually,
watching.
I feel like I need to rewatch like the last couple episodes of season 1 before season 2, just so I know where it's coming from.
This is another thing. I had to check my
Isn't
calendar
this
to
based
be
off a
like, was
video
this?
game?
Yeah, it is. But I had to check my calendar. I was like, did this come out this year? It came out early in last year. It's funny how
That's something I
it's like a January, February
Run through.
show.
with music is like something will come out in the beginning of the year and then it's completely lost. And then
Yeah, this was great.
hopefully
It's
people
almost
remember it 9-10 months down the road when they're doing their year-end list, because it's almost suicide to have like shit come out the beginning of the year. You know, unless it's like really impactful, it's gonna get lost in the shuffle eventually.
Yeah, and this was a great season. I liked it. It definitely
Isn't
had
this
its
that big
wokeness.
chin motherfucker from the Met Gala stuff?
Yeah, and I thought she was super annoying. So I will say, like, there's caveats to this show.
And
Also,
it's
I feel
from,
like
what's
show,
that guy?
she had a very perfect from the Mandalorian, the Game of Thrones, Pedro Pascal.
Isn't he in?
He had the Met Gala photos we were talking about, where he's like
No,
wearing
yeah, I
short,
know he had that like weird red
like
raincoat
Nazi shorts,
shit
yeah,
on.
Nazi Soviet shorts.
Before that, like, is he known from like Narcos?
That's after. That's after.
Oh,
Game of Thrones, I think, is what kind of got him some parts.
oh yeah,
But
shit.
it's good, man.
He's like
I
fucking
like
his
it.
sister.
It definitely has its
And then,
caveats.
they have the hot daughters that
The Sand Snakes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got its caveats, man. It's a good show. It's a little woke for sure. So don't, there's a whole episode with Nick Offerman being gay with his boyfriend or husband or whatever. So that's a whole episode. But it's still good. It was one of those things that I kind of wish it's all about this big journey. Like basically,
Wait,
he's got to
Nick
get.
Offerman is in The Last of Us.
Yeah, he's got a whole episode. He's like a prepper. It's actually his episode's cool.
Doomsday
It's a really good
prepper?
episode. He's like
With
this like
a
big.
bunker full of stuff.
He like preps the whole town. Like everyone leaves and he like takes over the town. He like locks down this little town. And so the town is basically being run by him, and he's got it all like gated off, and like he's got like the whole setup, like where no zombies or anything are coming in or whatever. Like he's got this perfect. And then like this guy comes through and he like, all right, I'll help this guy out. Then they like have like a relationship or whatever, and then it turns like 10 years later they're like a couple. It's weird. It's a whole thing. It was good. But definitely has some woke vibes.
I give it some water.
My whole issue with My whole issue with this show is I just wanted this to be a harder journey. Like the whole point of this show is he's got to get this girl across the country to another group. And I won't really give you the details why. I think it's a show worth watching. So, or if you know the video game, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But show worth watching. And I just thought when I was watching this show, like I just wanted to be a lot harder. Like I could have had them do this first, like they could have made this first season 3 seasons. You could have like made every episode a lot like very hard for them to move from point A to point B. And like I would have liked that. You could have stretched things out. Everything kind of like, at the end of this season, I felt like all right, this is definitively over. I was like, you don't have to do anymore. Like this was a good end. So the fact that there's more things coming from this, I feel like are disappointing because I think this had a nice, perfect ending for what it was, and I'm glad if this would have been over. Like if someone just said like, "Oh yeah, that's all they're doing," I'd be like, "Oh, awesome! That was a good way to end it. Ended very cool. You know, like ended very realistic, very cool." But or again, like I said, you could have took this season and really stretched things out where along the way it takes them long to get from point A to point B. There's issues along the way, which I just felt like they didn't have a lot of conflict. Like it felt like very in the zombie world, it felt them, well, zombie mushroom people, whatever. It felt very easy for them to get from point A to point B. I was very disappointed in that. I kept thinking like, oh, this is awesome. It's gonna be so tough for them to get like a mile. You know, like that's what I wanted. I wanted like every mile to be like a struggle, a journey, you know. But no, at the end of the fucking season, they get from the East Coast from Boston to like Montana, and it's all in like 8 episodes. You know, like I that's terrible. Like you had hours and hours and hours of time spent getting there that should have took you. To me, like you know that's something you could at least fill up at least 2 seasons, and then like where we left off at season 1 could have been like your end of season 2. That's what I would have done with this. That would have been my choice. I would have. I've only heard bad things about the next game. I've heard The Last of Us 2 is very disliked the story, and I do know what happens, so I wouldn't ever spoil that for people. But kind of hope they don't do it. I kind of hope they veer away from the game of what happens early in The Last of Us, the video game too. Because I know it's like initial thing. It's like a big thing happens on the second game. A big thing happens that if you know, you know. And I unfortunately know, I guess just from the grapevine. But hope they don't do that because that will change the dynamic of the show a lot. Kind of hope it, you know, like I said, I kind of hope it would just should have ended after season 1. That would have been a perfect ending. Like you don't have to go anymore, but it's TV and it's money and it's HBO. Like this would, would have been super nice to see a show being like, yeah, we really liked our first season. That's where we want to end it. Like that would have been nice. Not like Willow. It's nice to see something like know when to quit. Sometimes you got to know when to quit. Seinfeld did that good. He knew when to go out. Even then, it was a long running show, but went on too long. Number 3 on my list here. Bake Off, season 14. This is if you like this is also again. This is a personal list, so I kept going through like what did I like better? What I like better? Like what I like better than these shows? And I like the Great British Bake Off. Love me the Great British Bake Off. So this season was pretty good as well. So such a relaxing show too. If you know about the Great British Bake Off, you know has this great cinematography. It's definitely the best shot cooking show that I've ever seen. And I will say that I think this season things were a little bit lacking production wise because a lot of shaky cam. I saw some shaky cam and I was like, you shouldn't have shaky cam on Bake Off. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. I've seen too much of this show to know like the show should be like calm. But yeah, this is a great show. I love every season of this that I've seen. This season ended disappointingly, as the last couple ones have. But love me some Paul Hollywood. Love me some Prue Leaf. And if you like the Great British Bake Off, you probably like the season. I thought it was pretty good. Got to put it number 3 on my list.
What the fuck is this shit? A cooking show?
It's the best cooking show. It's the Great British Bake Off.
What's so great about it?
It's the best baking show there is, man. It's all these home cooks.
What was number 4?
The Last of Us.
Oh, okay.
So I said this is a personal.
Wait, what the fuck? This is.
I personally like this.
Isn't this like a documentary or some shit?
It's a reality show, so I will say this is a reality show. I struggle.
Somebody on it that's really funny, or like I don't understand the draw.
It's got the Mighty Boosh guy, who's one of the hosts. The goth looking guy,
the one that like lives in that weird room in the IT crowd basement.
That's the guy. Yeah. What's his name? Noel Fielding.
But But like, I don't understand. Like, what happens every episode? That they just sit and make fucking cakes, and that's
Well, they make
hilarious?
different things. I mean, that's one thing I will say. They make a lot of things that we don't have here, maybe because it's British, but they make a lot of good stuff, man. I'm a
Did you
I'm a
have
fan
it
of.
when you went over there?
No, I never had any of that, but I'm definitely a fan of the Bake Off. It's also like I was saying, I think you're away, but it has this like it's like the best shot cooking show I've ever seen. They're in a tent in the summer, so it's like they're outside, and they have just like really nicely shot things. That's all I can say with it. It's just a very nicely shot. It's a very relaxing show. It's you can even look this up. Like look up shows good for anxiety, and you'll see the people talking about this.
Okay,
show.
so it's almost like listening to ambient music or field recordings or something.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it definitely is. It's actually
it-
kind of like that.
It's like really soothing stuff with people putting like baking ingredients in bowls.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, they're outside, so there'll be like some.
I definitely want to check the shit out now because I'm curious why it's so high.
Yeah, it's my favorite show of this. I mean, I like this show though. I watch it all the time. Like the next one coming up is also very similar. It's a personal preference. I'm trying to find maybe there'll be a trailer for this.
No, I've it's funny. It's like I've heard several times how great the show is. I always wondered why and like what's going on. So I'm definitely gonna. Is it on Plex?
Oh, I have this season on Plex and probably the last couple ones, but
Okay,
it goes back pretty far.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
It goes back pretty far.
Part of me thought it was like a bunch of British people, Gordon Ramsaying, just yelling and screaming at each other while they make.
Oh
cakes.
no, it's like everyone's so nice to each other. It's like the exact opposite of an American show. That's also what's nice about it. Like everyone's very nice.
Well, no,
like,
Kitchen Nightmares
respect-
is not American. That's a British show that got adapted.
Well, yeah, but
Wasn't
let's
it?
not Kitchen
Maybe it's
Nightmares.
the other way around.
Not
One
Kitchen
of them
Nightmares. You're thinking of the other one, the one with the competition.
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Yeah, Hell's Kitchen is also very like even the British one and the American one. They like pit everyone against each other. It's like very like douchey. Like everyone, it's almost like Survivor. They're all trying to like throw people under the bus. Like this show is like the exact opposite. Like everyone's very nice to each other.
Like try and sabotage each other during service and fuck over the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. Like exactly. They don't do that in this show. It's very different. They're also all home cooks, so they're not really like professional people, but they do good stuff.
But isn't
some
it
of
a
the? I mean,
competition?
yeah, it is. And some of the people have gone on to do like books and their own stuff. So like a lot of people have created their career from this. This Italian guy was amazing called Giuseppe. He was fucking great. I'll have to say like this season.
I think I saw a clip of him and Gordon Ramsay driving around, and he had the navigation set to Gordon Ramsay's voice. So it was like really awkward because they were telling him like to go left or right while he's sitting there.
Yeah, I'd say like it's funny, the last couple seasons, like the last season there was like 3 people that probably could have beat anyone in this new season. So I will say like, I think this was a weaker season, but still, if you like Bake Off, you like
Well,
this.
what's the grading? Like, what makes one better than the other?
You could just tell it, man. They were just better decorating, better looking like stuff. I mean,
Okay, so you're like a cake scout.
Yeah, if you're a cake scout, honestly, they don't do a lot of cakes, a lot of pastries, a lot of breads. They have bread, like they'll do bread, they'll do biscuits, which are cookies over here.
Oh yeah, I love biscuits. Fuck.
Yes, well, biscuits to them are cookies, and cookies are biscuits over there. Yeah, so
okay. What do they call biscuits? Crumpets?
That's a scone. A scone.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's like drier.
Honestly, basically, what we call biscuits are scones, technically. Really are. Kind of the same thing. But they'll do French pastries because they got the French influence over there. They actually like legitimate stuff. They'll do savory stuff too.
Most like if you go to school for cooking, it's based on French cuisine, so that's kind of just the standard.
Yeah, and also I mean the baking
Like
shit,
the bear
man, they make
guy,
some crazy shit.
I'm pretty sure he worked in French cuisine and stuff.
Oh yeah. And so this is another show. Again, this is personal preference, but I like this show Alone a lot. This is probably one of my favorite shows. So that's why I gotta put it up here.
I don't
This
think
was
I've
a good
seen
season.
any trailers or anything from it.
It's on like Discovery Channel, or it might be History Channel. It's one of those.
Oh, is
And
this
it's-
like some Naked and Afraid shit?
Naked and Afraid sucks. I guess maybe I'm too much of an Alone person, but Alone is like I don't like that shit. Naked and Afraid is you have 10 items that you go out there with. You have 10 items, and it's like whoever lasts the longest. Naked and Afraid is like you're there for like a month and then you're gone. This is whoever lasts longest gets $500,000. And some of these people stay out here for like 90 days, and they go into like the Canadian Arctic. So it's like
I know, but do you
fucking
really like? This just feels like reality television where they want you to think this shit is real and it's just completely manipulated.
no, I mean, so I've listened to podcasts about the people who are on. I mean, also, by the way, all these people are like these, like Patagonia. Like they're all people who aren't like wealthy or anything. They're like survivalist people, like they'll go on these podcasts.
You don't think they're just making all this shit up to have something?
No, because a lot of these
sell?
people have legit medical records. Like a lot of these people, they will fuck up their bodies. That will take them like a year or two to actually get back to normal life.
Okay.
So a lot of it isn't good. Like even the people that lose, and a lot of people have to actually get ejected from the game because they're too malnourished or they've lost too much weight or they're starting to have organ damage.
Is this related to that Bear Grylls guy?
Now he was also fake. He was fake. The best one was Survivor Man, and then this Survivor Man and Alone are like the best legit shit. And they have to film themselves, by the way. So they give you like 10 cameras and you have to film yourself. So a lot of like there's not a lot of check-ins here. The only time they check in on you is later in the game when they want to do medical checks. That's basically it. But here's I'll show you a
I don't
trailer.
know, this seems really high for the level of television this probably is.
No,
Like,
this is honestly, man,
next
a
to
great
an
show.
actual like TV series, this doesn't even compare. This is like
Oh, no, this is better.
TV shit.
I think it's better, man. Watch this show. So watch this trailer here for the season 10 preview.
Okay.
So this is like one of the best shows that there is. I think it's a hidden gem people don't know about.
I don't know much if I believe if it's actually
Also, it's
real.
like everyone. No, it is. You could tell, man. You could just tell how. No, it's definitely real. I mean, you can hear accounts, and you could also just tell. Like you could watch them like starve. It's a lot. I mean, a lot of people don't last more than like 3-4 days because they like have to tap out, and then just the psychological issue that hits everyone. And like when you haven't seen anyone
I've
for like
mentioned this before, man. Like all this reality stuff, they're not going to allow somebody to die on television. That would completely ruin.
yeah. No, I get you, man. But I'm
Every-
telling you, this is
they're
like.
not- you can't have people dying on TV. It's not
This
gonna.
is the one show that I feel like is like it has a realness to it more than other ones.
Okay,
It's-
so this is
You
like
gotta watch it and
this
you'd
is
be like,
the
okay,
realest of the fake.
this is the
reality
realest of the reality shows, right? Yeah. Here's the trailer.
You know, I really believe that Appalachian Family was real too.
Oh yeah, that was
I'm gonna
bullshit.
do this, man. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fight this thing out to the last breath.
Wow, there's like nothing around.
They're in the Canadian Arctic on this one.
Game on.
They're trying to hunt bears and everything.
In
Fuck
Alone's
that.
most remote location yet. 10 participants set out to survive at all costs.
Our goal is to stay alive.
Battling extreme isolation.
There is no camera crews. You are
What the
really
fuck was that?
It'll eat at you, tear you up. God, why? It's a battle. Nobody ever comes out the same.
Oh man,
It'd be impossible to.
And fierce predators.
some big bear. It was right outside my shelter.
Predators like that, damn sure gonna kill you.
Please don't rip my face off. He bit the hell out of me.
They'll endure merciless winds.
It's been over 60 hours and it has not let up.
I can hear the trees falling down around me.
And bitter cold.
This whole place has turned into a frozen hill.
Last one standing.
It's a moose.
No, no.
Wins.
It's also one of these shows, man. People get so like existential on it. Like that's what something that also feels real is because they start to like talk to the camera and like in a very like it gets very like
It
emotional.
reminds me of this that Grizzly Man shit, that Werner Holmes.
Yes,
Herzog documentary.
it's a lot like that because he essentially was doing something similar where he was like living off grid. For,
No, I know, but you know what legitimized it was him actually getting murdered by the bear.
Yeah.
If he had just done all that and lived, I can guarantee you no one would have given as much of a fuck as they did.
Yeah, that one guy who had the thing in his arm, he got something.
And his girlfriend getting their heads fucking torn off.
That one guy in his arm, he had things like some kind of. He had he fell and he got something stuck in his arm, and he didn't want to tell the medical people because as soon as you tell them, they like try to get you off. What was it?
Just like a splinter?
It was a splinter that like he couldn't get out until like 3 or 4 days later. Sometimes splinters are like that. They like kind of force themselves out. So like eventually was able to like take it out.
Memory of my cousin Greg. His deck was like this shoddy shit wood, and he had a splinter like at least 2 inches long, and it took my mom, my aunt, and my other aunt, all three of them, like holding him down, putting his foot up on the sink, and like tearing it out of his foot. And it was fucking huge. And honestly, they probably should have like maybe, done something more to get it like what's it called? Like
hospital stuff or some kind of medical attention.
No, like tetanus, like some kind of tetanus shit. I mean, it was wood, so I guess tetanus is only from metal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad told me like a really fucked up story where they had this really grimy water hole that sometimes trash would float into, and they had a tire swing, and somebody flew in with the tire swing, and a really rusty lid of a garbage can was floating around, and it cut this kid's stomach like wide open, and his intestines were like floating in the water. And I was like, holy fucking shit, man. That was like fun in the
yeah, it was fun back then.
Mid-70s. That and the drinking and driving was standard practice because there was like really no like they were not really enforcing the shit. And then a lot of the cars back then did not have airbags. And like there's so many just instances of like people like flying through the windshield of cars, and it like was really not that big of a deal. Like it would happen like every other month or so.
It's actually kind of cool. I see one of the lone guys is on Joe Rogan. There's one guy, like some of these guys are able to like shoot deer and like this one, like a couple people who have actually won got like big game. Like this one guy killed a musk ox like with a knife, and everyone who's won this show always gets like a big game. Like you do that, you're like fucking set. That's the big thing.
I don't know, man. I feel like you're getting manipulated.
Dude, I don't know, man. I've seen this show for a long time, and it just seems super tough, like to actually be out there. Where it's like, it's funny too, because you feel like such a piece of shit, like sitting on your couch eating popcorn or something, watch these people starve to death, basically.
Well, that's part of it.
That's why it's like I don't know,
successful.
But there's some people that are pretty crazy out there. So, and then also a lot of these people, they have this like existential crisis when they come back to reality. I've heard them talk about in the podcast. Like they're out there for.
This feels like Real Housewife stuff for.
No, man. Honestly, man, all I'll say is check the show out and you will understand. My number one on the list is I Think You Should Leave. The show needs to be talked about more, but I think this is the best show I've seen. Season 3, I think it's the best thing I've seen, and all I can say to that is
you sure about that? You sure about that? That's why? You sure it wasn't because after the thing that happened to me, no one could look at me without dying laughing? You sure about that? You sure about that's not why?
No, yeah, I think the show is great. Especially for a sketch show. This is a great. It actually won, I think, an Emmy.
Yeah, sketch comedy is hard, and honestly, like he has really more than most, so many clips that get recirculated and regurgitated and repurposed, and that's because it just seems like a lot of the content's fucking good, even the stuff that we're not like clipping out.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can't clip out because like we tried clipping stuff out and they don't want you to show it.
Was he on SNL a little bit?
Yeah, he was a disgrace. He got fired from SNL, which is like,
It seems to be like the new trend is like getting fired from SNL is better for your career than staying on that shit and slow dying as some fucking
Well, look at this
asshole.
Tim Robinson is probably some of the best in comedy. Shane Gillis is some of the best in comedy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, I'm looking for whoever's like about to be on SNL and gets canceled. Sign me up.
Yeah, they look pretty bad these days. Remember we went through their list.
Or a podcast or a special.
I said no gag gifts. And Julie gave me chode jeans, and I almost killed myself.
What are chode jeans?
Chode jeans. They're jeans for a chode. Size 54 waist, 10-inch legs, fucking junk. Julie gave them to me.
It was just a joke.
I almost killed myself, Julie!
I'm not doing it. I don't even want to be around anymore.
What?
I don't want to be around anymore.
Like you don't want to live anymore?
I don't know.
Yeah, so many times where I wish I could just like pull up this clip and like show it to somebody, asking me to do something.
Yes, it was definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite show. I've seen it multiple times that season, so I gotta put it on the list. But again, I'm telling you, check out Alone, man. You will like it.
I'm gonna watch somebody sit in a tent for an hour and a half.
It's shockingly interesting and shockingly like good. Like it sounds bad on paper, but it's good. But basically, that is what it is. That's like also why like
a retrospective of this shit, so I can fully understand the draw.
That's also why like I'll say it's not like fake. Because it is boring. There are a lot of boring aspects to the show.
White person in a tent pretending like they're
there's some black people. There's some black people for sure.
A bunch of bullshit that's been kind of manipulated and fabricated.
There's some black people. There's some Spanish people. It's a diverse show here or there. Mostly white people. Mostly white Canadian people. Because the Canadian people actually know survival skills. So mostly Canadian people is what I would say. They're the better ones. Worst movies of 2023. I've seen quite a bit of those, but I only did 5. I did a top 5. There are some dishonorable mentions that I'll go through. But number 5, The Flash. Because you know what? I like Michael Keaton in this movie. It was like borderline. I didn't even want to put it on the list because I like Michael Keaton in it.
Batman.
Yeah, and those parts were actually pretty good. Like that was actually not bad. There's a couple Batman parts where it's Michael Keaton, and I was like, "Oh, this is good."
It was really weird.
Yeah, they kind of
Batman not overshadowed with darkness.
Like the Tim Burton bullshit. Yeah,
Batman lit that well is very awkward and weird.
Yeah,
and I agree.
But it was still the best part.
Like it makes every kind of crease of the outfit that much more obvious and kind of strange.
But again, this movie also had 2 Ezra Millers, and I think
that's like 3 more than I want.
Right, like 0 is enough of Ezra Millers, right? Yeah, rather have no Ezra Millers, and well, I think our wish will be granted with that. I don't think you'll ever see Ezra Miller again. I think he's done. I think it's safe to say he's done. I don't think he'll ever come back. Not with that whole controversy. They just wanted to this movie was already shot. They had to sell it. It's the only reason why he's in this.
If you're not that great to begin with, your leeway is limited. You know, like in sports, if you get canceled, but you're really fucking good, they'll find a way to get you back on the fucking field. But if you're
that was like that Jonathan Majors thing,
or barely, that impactful, you're cut. You're done.
That was like the Jonathan Majors thing. I think they wanted so hard for him to be innocent, and then as soon as he was guilty, they're like, "Oh, we gotta fucking." Like if that was anyone else, they would have fucking cut. They would have fired someone the moment they heard about that, unless they really wanted to keep the person. Like that's what's tragic about his career there. Like everyone was all on board. You're black. You have this. You have all these pluses for you. Everyone wants to do, and then you go ahead and choke a bitch. All you had to do is not choke the white bitch. You choke the white girl, you go into jail. That's a word. Wise words for all you black actors out there. You choke the white bitch, that's enough to get you done. Number 4, Blue Beetle. This was atrocious. I saw this and I was embarrassed.
That weird ass George Lopez and Dreads character.
I think that's the part that's funny. That was like the part. Like when I kept thinking of why this movie was bad, I kept thinking of George Lopez, and he's not even like a main character really. The villain was Susan Sarandon.
She's not even on the fucking poster.
Yeah, she's not. She's just like a white rich woman, like a Karen. A Karen is like the villain of this movie, basically. Sounds very 2023 though.
Sounds dated.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And then the Marvels. I had to put this on the list. This is also a movie I couldn't completely finish, but I saw enough of it to know. Oh, I know what they were doing on this. This was embarrassingly bad.
Who's that on the bottom right?
I don't even know. I've seen the character, but I can't really tell you.
Is that a man or a woman?
It's a Chinese guy. Well, I don't know. Oriental man. Oh, I can't say Oriental, right? You can't say Oriental. Asian man.
Oriental. I haven't. Yeah, Oriental's not a term that I've heard in a while.
You can't say Oriental anymore.
No, you can say it, but you'll get side-eyed.
He's an Asian fellow, maybe gentleman. I can't tell you. He could be. He's an Asian person. I don't know if he's. I don't know
Gentile.
What his pronouns
Asian
are.
Gentile.
He could be they them. So I don't want to offend him.
No, yeah, you don't want to.
Most likely, they're all they thems now, right?
This
you
or that.
Assume that.
That's what I try and do now. Somebody brings up their sexual orientation and say, "Are you this or that?"
Yeah. Number 2, Fool's Paradise. This is a strange movie. Like,
what is this?
And I also,
man,
I also somewhat like enjoyed it too, which is also. But I think it was like I think it was the troll in me that enjoyed this movie, though. It was part of that, like.
No, I was kind of when I was seeing like
so strange.
The clips and stuff, I was worried, and then you reviewed it, and I was like, oh fuck, and then seeing more and more of it, it just looks. I don't know,
it just doesn't. This whole movie just doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense who it was for. Like, I just don't understand who this was for. I feel like I have to show the trailer for this just to get everyone to understand what I'm talking about here. Here's the Fool's Paradise trailer, which is also bad, like the movie. So
has lost the ability to speak. He's not deaf, and he's technically.
By the way, I like the composer. The composer of this whole movie was John Bryan, who did Eternal Sunshine. So even this little opening, like a little song here, gives me an Eternal Sunshine vibe because John Bryan's a good composer.
Yeah, didn't he? He worked with Radiohead a bunch. I thought.
I believe so. Yeah, he's good. He's made his way onto other things that were good, like Lady Bird soundtrack. He's got some good music. Very good composer. So, bad mistake I'm making this movie, I guess.
Well, I mean, how much you really
deaf, and
it's
technically not mute.
What's our first course of action?
We are going to put his ass on the first bus downtown.
What do you mean he won't get out of the trailer? Get in. Take a look at this guy. What about him?
Man, this is one of Ray Liotta's last parts too. How disrespectful.
No, I thought his last part was Cocaine Bear.
Oh, I guess yeah, this and Cocaine Bear were up there. But this is one of his last parts. It's embarrassing.
No,
right?
like I thought the whole thing of like the end of his career was him getting ripped apart in Cocaine Bear was the last thing
think so.
people will see him in.
Well, there's 3 things I know he was in at the end. This was one of them, Cocaine Bear, and then I guess he was in a show called Blackbird that I think people actually liked. So at least he was in something that people kind of liked in that TV show Blackbird.
Okay.
I'm glad he was in something that wasn't awful towards the end.
He's a death bringer for you. Get finished today for you.
Death. It's like he had a bunch of weird shit that was not fully finished, and then they like pushed it really hard right after he died to sell it.
I think it's kind of typical. Look at like some like Gene Hackman's last movie was Welcome to Mooseport or something. Yeah, it's like some of these actors like they will end on some of these really bad movies.
Oh, that's so fucked up and sad. Yeah,
so maybe it's just a Hollywood tradition. They're like, you're going out, make sure you do some shit.
Oh man, like if what I'm known for is Welcome to Mooseport, I'd rather have never even existed
and never be in anything.
Action!
Oh, you got James Cameron part.
Cut! Latte Pronto!
Oh, it's not James Cameron.
Excuse
Looks
me,
like
Mr.
him,
Pronto.
Can I call you Latte?
Latte! Latte Pronto! Latte Pronto!
Is that your name? Amazing.
You and me are gonna do big things, pal. I understand you're from the streets. Mad respect, bro.
Make love to me, Latte.
You have got a big film premiere tomorrow night. Does that make you a little nervous?
Who are you really, Latte Pronto?
Bing, bang, boom. A million dizzy fiddles playing. Bing, bang, boom. Began to take my breath away. And bing, bang, boom.
This was a gift from Prince Harry. It was one of the original Knights of the Round Table sword or something. Can't really remember because I wasn't listening when he gave it to me.
Oh man, this is a lot of calling up friends to do some embarrassing parts. I just realized how it's like he had to call up a lot of people he was friends with to be like, you want to be in this? I'm sorry.
Ugh. A good indication something's gonna be shit is having common with a major part.
It's just you could tell. I'm sure like Jason Sudeikis like, you sure you want me to do this? Are you sure? Like, do I have to?
Well, like he's anything fucking good. He sucks.
No, I know, but even like Jason Bateman, like you could tell it's like
it's from that horrible Boston shit.
Yeah, you could tell it was he called calling up his friends to do some terrible like scratch my back kind of bullshit here.
Bang, bing, bang, bing, bang, bing, bang, bing, bang, bing.
And play time!
Gotta get down, big time.
Yeah, so that was my number 2 worst movie of the year, and I think I'm right on that one. My number 1 worst movies of the year. Drum roll here. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. This was atrocious. Atrocious. $300 million budget for one of the worst movies I saw all this year. The Godzilla movie, by the way, was only cost $15 million to make, and it was really good.
I gotta be honest, like covering it for whatever streams that we did was not fun to do. Even like making
the movie wasn't fun. It's like even they couldn't even make a fun movie.
It was really not that enjoyable because in the process you had to expose yourself to it over and over again.
Well, that's like what this movie should have been. Like by all accounts, this movie shouldn't have not been on my top 5. It should have been like it wasn't good, but it was okay. That's what they should have been shooting for. Like you didn't even need to make a good movie. Just make an okay movie. But this was terrible.
Just make it like forgettable but profitable.
Yeah, this was again exactly. And honestly, I was realizing how a lot of the movies I saw this year were in that category where they were just like
forgettable but profitable.
Yeah, like that Guardians of the Galaxy movie or Super Mario or Barbie. They were like, they made a lot of money, but they weren't.
The Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the one with all the little.
I liked it, but I wouldn't put it on my top of the list. But you know what? That movie's probably
like an honorable mention.
It's an honorable mention, but I didn't do an honorable mention for best. I only did dishonorable mentions. I did right here was my dishonorable mentions because I saw this movie and it's terrible. Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. I saw this the other day. Dude, this movie sucks, and I think Wes Anderson sucks. Now Wes Anderson's like done. This movie is terrible. It's about nothing.
Like, this is the like a good example of how he is just so stuck
Yeah.
his style.
He's
and
stuck
he
in his
can't
style,
get
and
out
it's
of
not
it.
even like he's not telling
And
a
he
story.
doesn't seem to have the ability to work outside of it other than animation. He can't make a movie that isn't completely like
And
in the
he's
same
choosing
kind
not
of mode or like shticks or and the Tom Hanks part is just like Bill Murray not being there for some reason. I don't know why he just didn't get Bill Murray for that shit.
He probably wanted to play into the Hollywood system and get someone else. And Bill Murray's in the movie, though. I know he's got a part. I remember that. But yeah, also this movie's, by the way, it's like you watch this, you're going to forget everything like 5 minutes later. That's how I feel about it. Like there's no plot to this movie either. It just
I've seen some clips where it's like a bunch of little kids and then they are doing a class project and it breaks into like this hoedown where Maya Hawke is dancing with somebody.
Yeah, it's scenes. This movie's like paper thin plot. That's all I remember like about it. It's just I don't know. It was embarrassing.
I
thought
that's
I like her too. I like everyone in this movie. I like every actress or actor in this movie. Like I have no issue with any of the actors or actors in this movie. I just don't think the story was good. I don't think there was a story. I like Grand Budapest. That's a good
trying to like work out a plot of a movie where there's like a bunch of Illuminati Sith lords that are manipulating actors to have sex with each other to create these like super babies, like super nepo babies.
Yeah, this was one of those movies that I've always heard of these people that like, oh, I just hate Wes Anderson stuff. Like, I just can't do Wes Anderson. And I was like, oh, I kind of like Wes Anderson. This was that movie where I like understood exactly what they're talking about. Like when I saw this, I was like, I totally get what you're talking about. I totally get why you hate this guy. I mean, I like a lot of his other stuff, but I totally get why someone would hate Wes Anderson. And this was like the epitome of it.
Yeah, if you don't like his shtick and all that bullshit, you're gonna hate him.
Yeah, and this will be like the ultra hate,
like very
because it's not a good movie.
And stylized and pretentious and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think he does have the ability to tell a good story. This is not it. So it's
but
like
that really is the fine line that you run between being like a arty douche and overcoming all that shit to just having a really good story or writing or like everything. Like you can really, it's just you're kind of riding a fine line between success and failure with that.
Another dishonorable mention is The Haunted Mansion. I tried to watch this movie. I couldn't. Again,
what is that, Nickelodeon?
It's a Disney movie. Disney. Yeah, it was made for kids.
Sarah Dawson's in it. Oh, wow. I remember seeing these trailers and thinking, like, what the fuck is going on?
I think Disney knew it wasn't good. They
Did
released
this come around.
Summer.
Wasn't this like just a Halloween release? Cash grab?
They didn't even. This is also how you know they knew it wasn't good. They released this movie in the summer because they knew it wasn't good. You would, by all accounts, you would think release this in October.
What? Why didn't it come out like October?
No, this came out in it was around August, early August. Yeah, I would think so too. Put this out at least October, but no, that's how they knew it wasn't good. It was bad.
I remember seeing the trailers and thinking,
not a lot to say.
It looked like a Disney live action reboot of based off of like a game, like a board game.
Yeah, it does feel like that. All right, so this one I think is going to be a little controversial, people, but Napoleon, dishonorable mention here. Not one of the worst movies I saw, but I got to put it up there as dishonorable. Movie's not good.
What's so bad about it?
The historical inaccuracies. I think it's kind of a boring
Does that
movie.
really matter? Like, who cares?
I think it's a boring part. It's just not a great movie,
like,
man.
Do you really care if what it's based
I don't.
on is real?
I watched the movie and it just wasn't good.
Like, you could tell me
it was a very boring movie.
Everything from The Gladiator was completely made up.
No, but that movie was good. I don't even care if it was accurate or not because the movie was good. Like when a movie is not good, you start to look at the faults. That's why everyone was talking about the faults because the movie wasn't good. It's like you're not going to look under the hood if it looks good. Like you see a car, it looks like a Porsche. You're not going to look under the hood to check if it's running wood. Like you just trust it. This was one of those movies where it just
you start to want to dissect it just because of how
you start to think like, why did like that movie, or why didn't I? Because it's like by all accounts, I should like this. It's Ridley Scott, who's a good director. It's got a good actor in the main role. Why didn't I like it? It's got some action scenes, like. Then I go through it and I'm like, I kind of see it more and more as I've thought about this movie. I liked it. I kind of liked this movie when I left the theater.
What I got from when we were reviewing it was you seem to really dislike the pacing of it and how
very bad pacing, man.
Forced it felt early on with just kind of like point A to point B to point C to point D without real any kind of flow or like
yeah. When I brought up that Trey Parker video where he's talking about storytelling, and this
felt
is
like lazy
the opposite.
writing and almost like just shitting out something to get it done.
And I heard Ridley Scott talk about it. Like the Ridley Scott, like even Ridley Scott said, like I really wanted to showcase the relationship between Napoleon and Josephine, which is like his first wife in this movie. And again, I get it; those parts are actually pretty strong, but that's not the whole movie. So it's like that's also the issue with this movie too. Is like I understand what you're trying to do, but there was like an hour and a half outside of that story that we had to watch. So like I do think he did a good job with that relationship drama aspect of the movie, but everything else wasn't too good and inaccurate. And I didn't like that when I start to look at the history of things. And also just like the character's boring. I mean, maybe Napoleon is boring. I don't know. I could see someone else doing this better.
I don't know if you're just like making fun of it, but the fact that
American thing.
Joaquin Phoenix didn't even try and do an accent.
Yeah, no, the American accent, and that every other person in the movie talks in a British accent, who the British people are their their hated enemy. But yeah, they all talk in British accents, so yeah, that was a little weird. Yeah, I don't know. I overall, every time I think about this movie, I just more and more I dislike it. And some of the movies I'll talk about with the ones I like the best, it's like the opposite. It's like when I think back at it, I actually kind of like it more, and I start to think about things. I think that's something that shows you with a movie if you like it or not, is if it has like the thought provoking power that stays with you and wants you to think about it longer. And a couple of these on the list for the best movie do that. So that's at least for me. So that's how I feel. These are my worst movies.
Well, I like when I started seeing the Napoleon trailers, I felt like I was getting really bad vibes because of how overly forced they were comparing it to Gladiator over and over and over and over again.
And it's not even close.
Okay, so just because Gladiator was good,
it's just because Ridley Scott.
I know. Like, how long ago did he make that fucking movie? It's like 10 years.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna see. Get ready for Gladiator 2 next year. So Gladiator 2 coming out next year, next November. Get ready for Gladiator 2. Let's see. That was my last of the worst movies of 2023. That was dishonorable mentions. So take it for what it is. I'm gonna go on to my best movies of 2023, and this one, by the way, I'm noticing this. There's a big drop off between some of these, and some of these are like I had to kind of like fight to come up with some of my best stuff. So take that.
You mean there's like a gap within the tiers of quality?
Yeah, I feel like there's a drop off. I mean, like, all right, so number 5, I put is Leave the World Behind, and we talked about it. And I like this movie because it's very symbolic, and I like that kind of shit. I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the main thing
I like some weirdo shit.
This black girl's like nipples being shown through her clothing.
I think she's pretty hot. Every time more and more I think about her, I think she's a pretty hot actress.
And who's the guy?
Chicken Marsala.
Chicken Marsala, yeah, from the Pianist.
Is he from the? He's not from the Pianist. It's from
he's
Green
in that
Book?
piano fucking movie.
Green Book, right? Green Book.
Green Book, yeah. Greenberg.
I like him. Is he from Moonlight? Is he from Moonlight, or is that a different black guy?
Yeah, well, I think he's
I didn't see
done
Moonlight.
stuff before that, but Moonlight was really the.
I have to say, I do think every time I've seen him personally, I think he's a good actor. I like him.
No, yeah, I
think
like
he's a good
him.
actor.
I
I also have to say with the other people, like I think I used to not like Ethan Hawke, especially when he was like a young little shithead. I used to hate Ethan Hawke, but I think he's actually good in his like the last 5 or 6 years.
I only know him from like Training Day.
I remember there's some like douchey '90s movie he was in that like I hated.
Oh, Reality Bites.
That's it. That's the movie. I like every time I saw that movie, I was like, I fucking hate this guy.
I think he's like fucking Winona Ryder.
Yeah, maybe because I liked Winona Ryder, but I hated that. I hated him.
No, really, I agree. It's like I was really just attracted to Winona Ryder. She had that like pixie kind of haircut thing going, and he was like this lame ass grunge douchebag.
Yeah, the typical dude. You're like, of course he'd get all these girls. Fuck that guy.
Well, and he
He's
also
like
did that Before Sunset shit with the guy from Richard Linklater.
Oh yeah. He did a couple things to Richard Linklater. He did
there's like 3 of those movies with that French woman.
The creepy dream thing, right?
And then but then there's also that Boyhood movie where it's like,
what's the dream one? The Waking Life, right? The Waking Life. Waking Life.
He did that Boyhood shit where it's like 10 years of him filming with the same.
Oh yeah, he's the dad, right?
Yeah, and the dad is like a piece of shit in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll say like I've seen him in some other things. He's done some horror stuff recently that I think he's been good at choosing parts lately.
In the basement.
Yeah, the Black Phone movie was pretty good.
Yeah, the Black Phone.
That was pretty good. He's in some ominous, maybe it's called Sinister. I don't know what it is. That was also pretty good. Some other like Conjuring type movie. I forget what it's called. That was all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Julia Roberts is pretty good in this. I haven't seen her in a long time. She might be in the.
Once you said Sinister, I immediately was thinking like, is that a Conjuring movie?
It's something like that. Yeah. Julia Roberts in this movie might like, even though this movie is pretty good, I think it has one of the cringiest scenes in a movie. There's a dance scene in this movie that is probably some of the worst. Like
I don't know why, but I'm getting some
cringe.
like heavy M. Night Shyamalan vibes from this movie poster.
Oh, actually, you know what? In general, though, this movie has a very M. Night Shyamalan vibe.
Does
to
it? Okay, well then.
Yeah, I think that's actually accurate to say.
It looks like a waterfall with like.
The fact that you bring that up is interesting
because
I never.
What's the significance of the deer in the middle of the fucking road?
Well, the deer kind of plays a big role into the whole movie, so you'll have to know the movie to know what I'm talking about. But the deer plays a role. I think it's like also, I mean, the big role I think is the animal life is turning against us kind of thing. So that's part of it. But here's the cringiest scene I've seen in this movie. It's the dance scene in this movie, and it is pretty embarrassing.
I wonder if she could tell I'm hard right now.
Also, good as well. Check out Marshall Ali in this movie. Yeah, so it's like I think like while this is one of the better movies, this might be one of the cringier scenes that is possible. But isn't this next? Is this next? This band?
What is the context of this scene?
Everything's been bad, so like him and her get drunk and they start talking about stuff. This is actually there's one scene in this that's awesome.
What is the time period? Why does she have these big ass shoulder pads?
This is modern time. But his daughter and
It's
Ethan
like
Hawke,
80s fucking shit.
his daughter and Ethan Hawke are out by the pool smoking weed, and the first question she asked
Can you
Ethan
show
Hawke,
some clips of the daughter? Because I'm so like interested to know what's so attractive about her. Because from the
I don't know, I found her very hot. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Kind of just like some short-haired flat girl.
She was kind of flat, but it was kind of hot too at the same time. That's kind of all I'll say. I'm trying to see if I could see the vaping scene.
Vaping?
Yeah, they're vaping. Okay, all right. Here we go. Someone clipped out the scene where she comes out to the pool, so maybe this is why I'm attracted to her. She comes out to the pool. She's got some.
She's wet, obviously.
She ain't bad.
I don't know. What the fuck? She's got.
I don't know.
like,
I was
no
attracted to this
tits.
girl.
She's tatted up. Her hair looks fucking. Her forehead is fucking massive.
I don't know, man. I was kind of. I think she's not that bad.
I feel like you've been brainwashed.
Maybe I've been brainwashed. I don't know. I would say I wouldn't turn her down. Like, here, look at her here. What do you think about her there by the pool, by this tub?
Yeah, this just feels like some M. Night Shyamalan shit. Like, straight
Honestly,
up.
that didn't really dawn on me, the M. Night Shyamalan thing, until you said it. But that's a really close comparison of a movie where like this could be an M. Night Shyamalan movie. I think that's also kind of why I like.
Did he produce it?
No, he had nothing to do with this. But it kind of feels. I'm sure the filmmaker.
Remember when like Quentin Tarantino used to like present stuff?
Yeah, I'm sure the filmmaker likes
actually
M. Night Shyamalan. That's what it feels like. This producer probably likes it. Number 4, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I really enjoyed this movie, and this also came out early in the year, and I almost forgot about it. And then I was like thinking back at movies that came out, and I was like, oh, I really like that. Animation style is really good. I really enjoyed this movie.
Who's the villain?
The villain is kind of another. It takes a place in the Spider-Verse, so there's all these different Spider-Mans that are in this multiverse thing. By the way, this is the most like the multiverse. I think has been kind of lame across a lot of movies. I think this is the best multiverse usage. There's a Spider-Man in the multiverse.
Well, that's a good way to represent the year, because how many people have fucking done it and tried it? And if this is the best example, then it's good that it's being represented somewhere.
Yeah, no, definitely. And here's the trailer for the Across the Spider-Verse, because I did enjoy this movie, so I wanted to play the trailer. I do like it. I'm excited. The only thing I don't like about this movie is it left on this like big cliffhanger, and it's like a little lame. But
wait, wasn't there like some weird shit with the live action guy? Like they were going to do a live action version, but then the guy who played the Spider-Verse guy,
he's too old. No, I think he's just too old. I know he wanted. I think he might have had some issue with maybe domestic abuse or something, but I think he's too old. Like I looked at it, he's like a 27-year-old. Like this character is like 15, so it's like you have to kind of
the guy who voices the like 13-year-old.
Yeah,
at like 50. Okay.
Yeah, right. So it's like you can't really have this guy
Why
be.
wasn't they doing that? He doesn't.
But again, you can find someone similar. You can find someone similar, or like again,
like,
I don't.
When you were watching it, you didn't think like, okay, this guy sounds really old for the.
No, he sounds like a 15-year-old. He sounds like a 15. No,
well, that's
no.
creepy.
I mean, I could see it, that could be the case, man.
It's like Elmo.
I just think this. I think also it's like they shouldn't make this live action. I think it's nice to have this character be like an animated character, like nothing more.
No, I know,
like, if it was me, like keep him in this, keep him here.
They're gonna probably think about it.
Of course they will. I'm sure he'll be a live action character. But to me, it'd be like he was good in this. Keep him in this universe and just do an animated. You can do more animated Spider-Man, right? But again, the animation style in this was really cool.
I can hear you.
And vast. A lot of
Well,
different
yeah,
styles.
wasn't there like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that did a similar thing?
In that order. They did. They based off their animation style definitely from the first one of these.
Man not being my little boy all the time.
Oh, okay. So that came out after the success of this, and they tried just kind of ripping it off.
This little boy.
Yep.
Making sure he is loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things.
Also, this movie had a 90s hip hop soundtrack behind the whole movie, like tons of A Tribe Called Quest and
really.
Oh yeah, like
Black Moon?
good shit. Like oh yeah, like Digital Planets and shit. Like the soundtrack of this movie was awesome. It make because also this movie has a big like like it almost feels like a music video, a lot of it. So the music was really good. It was a good choice for the
Yeah, I've seen a lot of memes.
And what I
of
worry about
the, White Spider Girl having a big fat ass in the movie. Is
Yeah,
that
she
made
definitely
up,
does.
or that's actual?
No, she does. Yeah, she definitely does.
That makes sense. You know, you want.
I love you.
because they won't look out for you like us.
Miles!
Look into the NBA verse.
Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from.
Does Jonathan Majors have anything to do with this?
And
No.
he never doubts that he is loved. And he never lets anyone tell him that he doesn't belong there. You gotta promise, Miles.
I promise.
I feel like this.
What were we saying?
Black Panther being so successful.
It could be. But again, man, let me finish this trailer and I'll talk about it.
Who do you think you are? Really?
We are supposed to be the good guys.
We are.
It was so I saw this in theaters, and a lot of I've been talking about on this channel and other things, like I go to see these movies and no one's in there. This is one of those movies that actually people went in to see. And a lot of people were younger Black and Latino people that were actually there. So it was interesting to see that crowd. So I think it actually resonates with them, which is interesting to see. You know, this is actually hitting on they're liking it. So kind of cool for them, you know. But again, even for, I thought it was cool. I thought he's a good character. I don't think he's a Spider-Man character. I think he's his own character. He's Miles Morales, But
Well, yeah, most people know the live action Spider-Man is that British guy, fucking Zendaya.
oh yeah. Or I thought you were talking about
Tony
I'm
Hiddleston
thinking of
or
the other
something.
guy. I'm thinking of the Peter
Tommy
Parker, Tobey Maguire, man.
Yeah, they've been showing the Spider-Man stuff. I guess I don't know why it's related to Christmas, New Year shit, but I rewatched the one where he's Dark Spider-Man and he's dancing in the club. And
Spider-Man 3.
Oh man, it's so weird in a terrible way.
Kind of love
And
that.
there's 8 villains in that fucking movie. It's so hard to keep track of who he's actually.
Oh yeah,
trying
that's
to
where
fight.
you can
It's
tell
there's
that's where it was
Sand guy,
ending.
there's Reptile guy, and there's a fucking 8 different goblin people.
There's Sandman, right? Sandman, there's Venom, and then there's the other Green Goblin. Because of what's his name? That rapist guy.
Willem Dafoe.
No, the other James Franco is now the
Who's
Goblin.
he? Oh shit! I remember now. He had an acting class where he was.
Yeah, I think he's a Me
manipulating
Too
people,
controversy.
him to just kind of hook up and fuck them afterwards.
Dude, he's one of those people you haven't seen for a couple years because of that. It's been years since he's been in a major movie. James Franco, he's done. He got Me Too.
He got canceled. Yeah.
Number 3, Iron Claw. Yeah, I love this movie. I thought it was really good. A24 movie. It's also a movie that, like I said, there's a drop off between. I think there's a big drop off.
How did this do financially?
It's doing pretty good. Nice,
because I always want A24 movies to be profitable because it's definitely one of the better production companies. So I want them to keep having the ability to pump shit out, even if a lot of it doesn't hit. More than not, their stuff's pretty fucking solid.
Yeah. No, and I was gonna say there's a big drop off between number 5. There's a big drop off right here between number 5 and number 4. But then
Leave the World Behind feels like
a way
almost like a
distant
TV.
from Iron Claw. Way distant. And then my top 3 are very kind of close to each other is how I feel. But those 2 before it,
Well,
Like,
by the way, if
I need to find a 4
anyone
and 5.
wants to get a full, not full, but like pretty much review of the entire thing, check.
The last, I think the stream
No, it
ago,
wasn't.
I had to clip it out.
It wasn't the last stream. It was like the second.
Yeah, I wanted to clip it out. I was gonna clip it out. I wanted to wait a little bit because I want people to go see this
It
movie
was
because we
either
talked
the
spoilers.
stream or like the second to last stream that we did.
Second to last. It was good. I mean, I like this movie a lot. It's great. Especially, I mean, you don't have to like wrestling.
People were actually in theaters for that.
Yeah, people came. Actually, I've actually been seeing a lot of people going to see this. It's also getting a lot of
Acclaim.
it's getting a lot of hype and a lot of people talking about it. So I hope that's good for it. It was good. It was very good.
For 24. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, it's it's a slow paced movie too, which is nice. Like I like that about it. It's not like
I mean, from what you said about it, it also sounds like really depressing and kind of, like
it is. It's
almost
done in
like
a very it's done in a very subtle way where it doesn't feel like
soap opera or something.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like overly depressing. It has sad moments for sure, but it's not like overbearing.
When you have a family of 5 and like 4 of them die, it's not going to be,
Yeah. But again, I really like it. I think it was great. I think really not about wrestling.
When the father killed himself, did you?
Oh, I was wrong on that.
The
father died from cancer. So I was wrong on that. I thought the father killed himself. There's another brother that kills himself. He's not shown in the movie.
Oh, I thought you said the father shot himself in the face.
I thought so too. It was the brother, the younger brother, who's not in the movie at all. There's a younger brother who shoots himself in the face.
Oh.
But still, a lot of people died here. There's
Well, we might have to do a retraction from the.
There's 4 brothers that died in this 5-brother family. So there's that.
So the father doesn't die?
The father does die. Like the parents get divorced and the father dies shortly after. They didn't show the divorce.
Old age?
No, he had cancer.
Okay.
He wasn't that old either. Yeah.
That's not as glamorous as shooting yourself in the face with a shotgun.
And they didn't show that in the movie, but it's probably nicer to do that. But again, great movie to go see. Definitely check it out. You don't have to like wrestling. I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, I don't want to go see a wrestling movie." This is not a wrestling movie at all.
So, would you say this is Oscar bait for Zac Efron? Do you think he'll get nominated?
I think he's gonna get snubbed. I think he should be, but I bet you he gets snubbed. That's kind of how I feel. But this is like a snub. This is a snub bait.
I thought he would be at the level to even get like a nomination.
Oh, me either. I never thought he was good until I saw this movie, and I was like, okay. I mean, this kind of feels like.
Do they have other writing credits that are?
I don't know.
Notable,
but I feel like this is I feel like this is his this could have been like the perfect part for him, and that's it. Like this might be his best thing he ever does.
Well, I feel like he was
sometimes that happens.
Enjoyed it out. Like watching that Baywatch movie, he definitely seemed like him and The Rock were like who can roid out harder.
Yeah, I mean, so it was written by this guy Sean Durkin, who's not really written a lot of things else, and he's a director too, and he's not really directed a lot of things else, so he's kind of new.
Well, this is probably going to be his jumping off point to do more shit.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, also a good choice by A24 on this one. I mean,
Especially
a good choice to do this movie. It's a weird, like, it almost doesn't feel like it should be done by A24, but it's good. Also has that 70s vibe, which I've been seeing a lot more. I liked it a lot. My number 2 movie of the year is The Holdovers.
I thought it was going to be number 1.
I thought so too, until a couple of days ago. Until a couple of days ago, I would have said this was number 1. And I'm also, like I said, 1, 2, and 3 here are very like hard for me to judge.
And
so,
I feel like we clipped out the Holdovers review.
Yeah,
right?
and I think I don't know if I did. I should.
No, I thought. Hold on, I thought you did. You clipped it out.
I don't think I did, man. I should have. I think I've been meaning to. Again, this movie's great. I love The Holdovers. It's a Alexander Payne movie, and you're gonna get what Alexander Payne only delivers, which is a good movie with some comedy, some drama, nothing over the top. It's gonna be an acting piece, which I think is always what he does, and that's what this is. And it is good acting, a good story. A movie definitely about loneliness, especially all three characters here. The main character, Paul Giamatti, is kind of like a lonely professor who doesn't ever leave. He's an academic. He stinks. All that kind of shit. The black.
You know what? You're right. I thought you had clicked out more reviews, but the last one is from.
It's been a
The
while.
Exorcist.
Or Did He Done It? I think I did Did He Done It clip.
Well, that's not really a movie review. That's more of a
Yeah, but Did He Done
legal.
It? Man? Did He Done It, man?
Like a weird legal examination of a freak fest or whatever.
Oh, freak out or something. Freak off.
Freak out, yeah.
The freak off.
And then the next one is Will Smith Gay, which got 69 views, which is very appropriate number.
That's funny. Yeah, The Holdovers, really good. The main kid in it is really good. He should be more famous. He's a great actor. Maybe he will
This
be.
is his first thing, isn't it?
First thing.
And he's not even an actor. I thought he was just like some random motherfucker from the place they were filming at.
He's theatrical. I think he did plays. He might be like a Broadway. I don't know his detail. I know he's a theatrical actor. But he was good.
Obviously, Paul Giamatti worked with him for
Sideways.
Yeah, Sideways, and then the Precious.
That's not Precious. But she's
No, I know,
in.
but she must be pissed off that she didn't get that role.
She's in Dolomite. Is his name? She's in that, and she is good. And also, her character has a loneliness to her, where
Do you
she
think
has
if
her son
Precious
die.
played that part instead, it would have ruined the movie, or not?
No, I think it would have been fine. I don't think she was a standout personally. I'm sure she'll be nominated, but
I mean, she was pretty well respected from the what's that Mariah Carey movie where Monique's like her mom and beats the shit out of her.
Is that where like Medea goes to space?
That's Hidden Figures, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, she was good. She was alright. I think the character was good. I think it was more the character that was good. Again, so Precious could have played her because it's about a woman who this is her first Christmas after her son got killed in Vietnam. So she's also dealing with that loneliness too. And then the little kid who, he's like a prep school kid, but his parents, one parent is kind of like they say in the trailer, the one parent is dead, which again, there's something to that in the movie you'll have to see. And the other parent is like a mom who's now married a new stepfather, and she's off going to like Bahamas or something. So he's left behind there, kind of disregarded. So they're all dealing with their own loneliness. It's a movie about loneliness. That's the major theme. So I think that was a interesting theme there.
Because doesn't the woman
because vastly different characters when you look at them.
Got her son into the school because she worked there, and then he was drafted into Vietnam and was killed.
Yeah, and that was also, I mean, that's like, I think that's also why, like, she had a very good part where it's like, again, if you gave this to Press or any other, you give this to Precious or any other black lady.
Review the movie where I was even able to recollect that much of the
you
plot
did. You
without
got it.
understanding it.
And that was a deep part of it. Yeah, it was definitely sad. She had a good moment, and it's like it's a good part to have because there's a lot of backstory.
Probably, like who knows if he even wanted to really go there and do all the shit that she kind of forced upon him.
Yeah, but again, definitely a movie I would recommend anyone to see. You know what though? I wonder how a lot of people, like the general public, would they like The Holdovers? I don't know.
It's better than Licorice Pizza.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't think you're gonna get the, Johnny Plumber to go in and see Licorice Pizza.
What's that Russell Crowe movie with that's like
this they might like? The Nice Guys?
Yeah, I heard that movie's really fucking good. I want to.
It was really good. I mean, like for what it is, it's nothing like. I think like this is better, but it's The Nice Guys was pretty good.
I'm trying to compare one to the other because one's like a
that's more like a stupid action movie. That's kind of fun and kind of comedic. Yeah, that was good. That was a good. Ryan Gosling part. That was one of the better Ryan Gosling parts. very comedic. Ryan Gosling part, actually. I like that
No,
movie.
it's just one of those movies that I heard's really good.
If you
but
watch it,
never
you'll
watched
enjoy it. If you watch it, you'll enjoy it. It'd be hard not to enjoy that one. My number one movie of the year is Godzilla -1. Just saw it, and it's amazing. Amazing. I'll go into this because this movie is a post-World War II movie. It's basically a post-World War II movie about Japan, post-World War II, and then there's Godzilla. So Godzilla is not even a major part of this movie. The major part of this movie is dealing with the post-war of Japan. So that was interesting to see. You know, it's funny. We don't see that from our culture because, you know, we were the ones that won the war. But just the pride in the people that, you know, that so many people were there in the war and they lost, but there's a pride, you know, there's still a pride to being a military person. So there's this pride of being in the military, but also a shame in being in a war that,
like, kill yourself, like commit seppuku.
yeah, well, that kind of comes into play here. But also there's a shame in being in this war that wasn't good. You know, like there's a shame that's obvious too with the Japanese people, where it's like, this was not a good war to be in. So there's a shame to it too. So it's like a shame and a pride at the same time. But this movie's about a kamikaze pilot who chickens out, and he lands on like an island where these mechanics are. It's like a secret spot for them to land for mechanics, and he lies about his plane being malfunctioned because he didn't want to do the kamikaze thing. They didn't want to do the kamikaze thing, and then he says his plane is fucked up, and so the mechanic's going to work on it. And then later that night, Godzilla comes, and they all like get into a bunker. They're like, "Oh fuck, this is crazy, this fucking monster." And they were like, they tell the guy, the kamikaze pilot, to go into your plane and shoot this fucking monster. You know, at this point, by the way, Godzilla isn't super big. He's kind of small because this is like Godzilla gets bigger as he ages. I think that's part of the lore.
No, I thought he gains power from the more exposure to nuclear
like weapons and shit.
energy.
Yeah. That seems to be the case too. So like, they're like, all right, go into that fucking your plane so you could like shoot him up. And so he goes in the plane to like shoot him up, but then when Godzilla gets close, he gets too scared and he can't shoot him. And then Godzilla kills like every single person on the island except for like one other mechanic who like knows this guy. So then Godzilla leaves and they go back, like they both go back, and he's like a shameful guy, and he goes back to his town where he's from, the main character, and the whole town's been ruined by air raids and other crap. And you know, the woman there, all her kids are dead. She knows him. His parents are dead, and she knows he was supposed to be a kamikaze pilot. So she's like, "What the fuck are you doing back here? You're a coward." You know, so this guy's like living in shame from being like a coward and all that shit. And then meets a girl who's has a daughter with her who's not actually her daughter, but also like her parents were killed, so she's got this baby. So it becomes this weird couple of like a guy and this girl who he's not really with her, and the daughter's not really his, but it becomes like a family. It's a strange thing. And then Godzilla kind of comes into play later, but that's basically what this movie's about. It's a very post-war movie. It has a historical vibe to it, and that was probably the most interesting thing about it.
I don't know. I mean, that seems a little bit recency bias.
I'd say very depressing too. There's a lot of sad moments to this movie. This is a very sad movie.
I was assuming that the holdovers would be number one.
No, I would say this is up there, man. More and more when I think about this might be my favorite. This is definitely my favorite Godzilla movie I've ever seen, because it's like a real movie. It's like a good movie. It's all subtitles, by the way. This is Japanese subtitles. This is a Japanese movie. This is not American, by the way. That's another preface to this movie where that might give it some credence. This is not the American Godzilla, you know. This is way different. Way more like intellectual storytelling based, and big part of that is that. And then Godzilla's there. And Godzilla kind of feels like an allegory. And Godzilla kind of comes and fucks things up, and then there's a group of these people that try to take it down. And that's sort of where our character is going to try to redeem himself in the effort against Godzilla. And like I said, former kamikaze pilot who couldn't do it. So there's that in the story. So it was good, man. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was excellent. Saw this with my one friend who knows Japanese, and he liked it a lot. I don't know. We all liked it. The music. The music, by the way, is awesome in this. The music is great. The effects are not that good. I realized, like, I think the American Godzilla looks a little better.
How are the effects not good? It's fucking 2024.
I don't know. I think it's just the way they made Godzilla looks is more. He looks more like the older Godzillas, which is cooler.
This is pretty
but I
much
think,
2024.
but
They
the
should
older,
have-
like
they should be-
the
even
Godzilla in the
worst
recent.
computer graphics should be good.
No, I think it's just the way they want to make him look. Like, he looks goofy almost. The way the American Godzilla movies make him look is a little cooler, a little more realistic, a little more dinosaur-y. He just sort of looks like ridiculous and kind of like goofy in the Japanese versions. I don't know how to explain it. He's got a goofy look. He almost looks like a lion or something. He's strange looking. But if you saw this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a great movie.
Can you
It
show
was
a clip?
Yeah, I mean, I can show.
Who's
a clip
the
of it.
villain? What's he fighting?
Godzilla. Godzilla's the villain. I mean, the villain is Godzilla, but like the villain it's weird, man. The movie is just sort of about like it's a post-war movie, like about like living in the post-Japanese world, and like everything's fucked up and they're rebuilding, and you know, everyone's kind of has this shameful thing. They were all in the war, but they kind of.
Sounds pretty depressing.
It was a sad movie. I thought it was actually a very sad movie. Like it has a happier ending, but it's a sad movie, like overall. There you go. It's by Toho too, by the original company that did Godzilla. So there is that. This is the 70th anniversary of Gojira. So here's the Gojira trailer here for Godzilla -1. It's great. I mean, go see it. Or, you know, it'll probably be out on demand pretty soon, but it was great.
また悪い夢。ご両親、
空襲でやられたようです。
兄さんも私と同じね。
親子ともども縁あってこうして引き取ったんだから。
だから私はどんなことがあっても死んではいけない。
銀座を襲ったあいつ。大戸島だ。こちらですよね。
あんなもん倒せっかありません。
東京がまた火の海になるのは見たくない。
戦争が終わってないんです。今度の戦いは未来を生きるための戦いなんです。
ゴジラ-1
Oh man, it's so much better than the American Godzillas. That's also like, it's not even close. Oh, Gojira.
Kind of reminds me of when Parasite won the Best Picture.
No, it was good, man. It was surprisingly good. I didn't think it would be so good. That's like what I didn't think I would like it that much as I did. That's why I like kind of came out of left field. I was like, oh, I liked all these other movies a lot.
I don't know if like you've really had enough time to think about and reflect on it to automatically put it best thing in the entire year.
More and more as I've been thinking about it, I like it a lot more and more. Like I don't know. It's like I almost want to go see this again. Those other movies, I don't think I would really want to go see again. This I would want to go see again.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of the top 5 are kind of
the top 3 are close. The top 3 are
movies,
close,
but not something you want to put yourself through all over again.
Iron Claw holdovers and this, they're pretty interchangeable.
I know, but they're also like based on really depressing storylines where a bunch of people die and a lot of bad shit happens, and despite it being really good, it's not like a fun watch you want to go and experience over and over.
I would say the holdover is a little bit more of a fun watch than these other ones.
Because there's comedy mixed in, right?
There's a lot of comedy mixed into that movie for sure, and the comedy's like
that's what I love about
the comedy's done very well.
Is
it's very realistic
really
comedy,
and it feels almost like a documentary at times, but it's also funny and like all the characters have a lot of different I don't know, just like levels to them where
Yeah, and it's
they're
like
not
it's
just
not like
some one-dimensional archetype fitting a role within the plot. Like everyone's got like a lot of different things going on where it's like multifaceted plot lines because of it.
yeah, and it's not like yuck comedy. It's like comedy that kind of makes sense with the story, you know. Like so that's like kind of nice.
Well,
It's
the
like
comedies it feels secondary, but
yeah,
still
just
significant
realistic.
to not make it so cold and depressing.
Yeah, but again, I do have to say I think I stand by Godzilla here -1, my favorite movie of the year. Stand by that one. Best Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
How is this being received as far as like money? Like, is it making a shitload, or is it doing better overseas?
Let's take a look right here. By the way, this movie was made for $15 million. $15 million.
Seems low.
And Indiana Jones was made for $300 million.
Oh my god, where does the fucking money go? Like
this is what lets you know that, man. Like this movie has special effects. It has
feels
good
like rebelling
acting.
it. I feel like half of whatever the fuck is being recorded is just gone into like some bullshit you don't even know about.
I mean,
It's
for
like,
what this is,
it feels like a vig or like a
Yeah,
like a Ponzi scheme.
I mean, this movie's made his money back for sure, and much more, and it'll probably do better in streaming. But like, it's not big numbers. But I don't think this movie's getting the push. Like, it didn't get a big push here, so mind you that. Like, there's not been a lot of trailers for this. It's not been pushed, but it's already made his money back and more. So it's making money. It's also not in a lot of theaters. It's not in every theater. It's only in like AMC theaters. So it's got a limited release.
It's gonna be hard to really evaluate the profits when there's only so much of a potential audience.
Yeah. Oh, it's my best movies. Yeah. So yeah, best movies. Recap them. Go through it quick here. Personal choices, of course.
We have
Leave the World Behind
episodes where we go into like a lot more description and stuff of some of the best and worst things that we talked about.
Spider-Verse.
I don't think we did that, but I know Iron Claw. Actually, you know what? There is.
We talked about Spider-Verse
one.
We definitely did.
Like a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh, Gajira. Oh, Gajira -1. But yeah, I liked it. I want to talk about the top box office movies. This is different than what we did, but
well, we need to bring up Barbie
and
Oppenheimer.
Financially, Barbie is the best.
You know that like
made the most money.
People have both those movies on their top 10 year.
And I've seen the Barbie, and I've seen Super Mario Brothers, and I've seen a lot of Oppenheimer.
I know, but like, you didn't even bring them up as like honorable mentions for.
Well, I didn't see enough of Oppenheimer to talk about it, but I saw Barbie. I would say it's like middle of the pack. Not that great. Not that. It's not a bad movie.
What about that new Mission Impossible?
Not a bad movie. Not a good movie. It was okay. It was actually like kind of fun, but like I wouldn't put that into my top. Guardians of the Galaxy would have been like my honorable mention. That Guardians of the Galaxy 3 honorable mention.
That's the one with the creatures.
I would also say like Gran Turismo would have been honorable mention for me, but like I wouldn't put it in my top 5.
The Guardians of the Galaxy one. That's where the Fox guy is like the main guy for the first half, and he's with all these like
the raccoon.
tortured Toy Story characters.
Rocket Raccoon, yeah. He kind of does look like Fox.
The villain is like this black guy who has a face that he takes off.
Yeah, that part was good, man. Yeah, the action movie is pretty awesome. I'd say like that movie is pretty also very sad and emotional too. The theme of these movies.
The theme of most of the stuff highly rated.
Barbie, man. Barbie was just kind of mediocre. I didn't really hate it. I didn't really love it. I thought it was a very mediocre story. Super Mario Brothers is for kids, and if I was a kid, I probably would like it. So I'll give it that.
Isn't Barbie for kids?
That's not for kids. No, that was for like 30-year-old adults. No, that's 100% not for kids. I would actually not. If I had kids, I would not take them to this movie.
Why? What happens?
Dude, at the end of the movie, she's getting like an abortion.
From
At
who?
the movie literally ends with her going to a gynecologist.
Ken impregnates her, and then she gets the
No,
child
she's
again?
like in the end of the movie. She like it's almost like it's almost like Pinocchio, where like Pinocchio becomes a real boy. At the end of the movie, she becomes a real woman, and like the first thing she does is go to a gynecologist, and that's how the movie ends.
I know, but like
It's like insane when you break it down like that.
Who
too.
like impregnates her to?
She doesn't
abort
get
the-
impregnated. She's just going to a gynecologist to see the pussy doctor.
just for fun.
I think it's a feminist thing.
And that's the top movie of the year.
Yeah, the movie that ended with the Mattel toy going to a.
What was the top for last year?
Oh God, that's a good question.
Just so we get some kind of context.
It's not Everything Ever All at Once. I'll tell you that.
No, that was like
that like did really
Oscar
bad financially.
bullshit. You know that. Remember, like when DVDs were still popular, they would always put like that little logo for
Yeah,
like
nominated.
or as like nominated for this and that and.
So last year was Top Gun. It was Black Panther, Avatar, Doctor Strange. A lot of crap.
Very masculine. All this like over masculated and shit. And it's
I guess
gone like
so.
completely the direction. It's
I mean,
all
the Top Gun, yeah, gone far away from that. Now you got
Elvis.
Barbie.
Oh my god.
Now you got Barbie and
So fucking weird.
Fast X. Fast X
Yeah,
is
when I
on
think
top
of
here.
Top Gun, I just think of all those like volleyball sequences where everyone's like over flexing every single action they do.
Oh yeah,
Like
super
they're in
gay.
a slow motion karate film. What about 2021?
Oh, this is getting back to the pandemic era. Let me see. 2021 would have been Spider-Man: No Way Home and
the first,
Shang-Chi: Legend of 10 Rings, Venom, Black Widow, Fast 9, which also comes into play here. No Time to Die, which I think was James Bond.
Wow, Dune is so low.
No, Dune really didn't do that great financially. And I
What about
actually don't think it
2020?
will. I don't think it will next year either. 2020 was Bad Boys for Life, 1917, which was good. The Sonic
Yeah,
movie.
I love that franchise.
Yeah.
Seems
Star
like a
Wars.
bunch of video game movies.
I like The Invisible Man. It came out in February. That was a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know. The woman in that is so fucking ugly.
Yeah, she's not a looker, but she's a pretty good actress though.
She better be.
Right. Would you turn her down though if she said like, "Hey, let's have sex"? Would you say no?
Well, she's worth a lot of money, so I would try and impregnate her
you wouldn't say
to. Well, yeah. How would that work? If I impregnated her, and then
I don't think you'd get anything from
because
that.
she makes more money than me, would she like be paying me alimony, or would I still have to pay her alimony to raise the child?
It don't
Does it
work
work?
like that with the dad. It all works like that with the woman. Like if she gets it's
So, like,
it's-
no matter how
you're
much
wrong-
my
yeah.
income is, I'm still
Nope.
gonna have to contribute like 90% of it, even though she's a millionaire.
Right.
That seems like
It don't
a pretty
work like
fucked
that.
up system.
Yeah, that's where we live. Yeah. That's Barbie universe right there. Oppenheimer number 3. Eh. I saw a scene. I thought it was okay. I didn't see this. I just don't like Christopher Nolan. I don't really want to see anything.
No,
he
I
does.
hate him.
So I'm biased, but I'm sure it's okay. I bet you this will win the Oscar. It's gonna win the Oscar.
Thing.
I don't know. It's funny. I was looking at that. Like, what is this? But this did really good financially worldwide.
You know, it seems like
it's a Chinese
a
movie.
lot of this list is just
It's a Chinese film.
yeah. This is why Matt Damon did that horrible dragon movie.
Yeah, because they're paying for shit over here. I see another Chinese film at number 20.
China bait. We gotta
There's a couple Chinese movies here.
For like screenplays and stuff that'll work.
Yeah,
well
look at
for
this.
that.
Number 8 is Chinese.
Is Godzilla China bait?
No, because that's Japanese.
No, that's Japanese.
Yeah, but look at this. Number 7 is Chinese. Number 8 is Chinese. Number 13 is Chinese. Number 19 is Chinese.
Yeah,
number 21 is Chinese. So basically,
shit, man, we're in the wrong market.
Basically, 6 movies in the top 20. That's
What
pretty
is it
up
about
there.
their culture that they go to see movies so much?
Good question. I don't know. I think they just don't hate life like us over here.
Or
I don't know.
is
Maybe
it just like their population is so overwhelming that the numbers are boosted from it?
I just kind of feeling maybe their movies appeal more to their generation. Like I think that's the issue with us here is like a lot of these movies just don't appeal to everyone. You know, like the Barb movie that didn't appeal to me. Super Brother Mario Brothers movie, like yeah, I'm not a kid, so no. And then like Guardians of the Galaxy, Fast 5, I think they're kind of like they don't have a broad appeal. They have a very like sectional appeal. Like, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be for like, you know, the nerds who like superheroes. Fast and Furious movies are going to be for like people who like cars. Like, I don't know. We don't have this broad movie anymore. Like, look at Jurassic Park. It was able to get everybody in. We don't really have that anymore. A movie that takes everyone in. Maybe Mission Impossible was one of that, but I don't think that didn't do as good as people thought. That's kind of a broader movie. I don't know. And these John Wick movies, I haven't seen all of them, so I don't know. I haven't seen any of them. I'm in the dark on John Wick.
I saw the first 2, and the first one's fucked up because
with the dog.
Yeah,
I didn't like that part.
I did not like that.
That's where I checked out. I was like, I'm not watching this shit. I knew what they're trying to do. Trying to prey off of pity.
I mean, that is some like real manipulation of people's emotions.
Yeah, like everyone doesn't like that.
Puppy and then they kill it. I mean, come on, fuck. It's cheap.
Yeah, it's lower than low right there. But yeah, those are the worst and the best and the worst of the movies we saw this year. I saw. I don't think you saw any of these. You seen any of these? You got lucky. You didn't see any of these, probably. You see Indiana Jones?
I didn't see them, but I felt like I experienced them indirectly through your reviews. So isn't that close enough?
Oh, I think it's close enough. You got lucky not seeing it. Most of these movies I would say not to see. There's only like 3 movies I would say actually go watch.
God.
Everything else.
How much time and money do you spend? Well,
too much time. But also I realized how, like I said, with the shows, man, like I realized with like seeing people's top shows this year, like I've only seen like a few shows. Like a lot of
shows are you don't spend money for that other than
no, I know, but like these people watch like it feels like 50 shows a year. And it's like, I don't know how you have the time. How do you have the time to watch 50 shows? Like, I don't have that time. I wish I did. I can't watch 50 shows a year. Movies are a little different. At least movies are like we said, like
so
2
much
hours
time
and you're out.
that you can be awake and cognizant for.
Got to work. Got to do that shit.
Yeah, speaking of, I gotta log off pretty soon.
All right, later, man. Yeah, and I think we're wrapping up. We're on all the platforms you can find us on.
We'll clip out the reviews of Iron Claw.
Yeah, I gotta clip this out. Holdovers and probably the best and worst of these. I like this stuff. So That should
But you
work.
went to like pretty in-depth descriptions on stuff. I don't think you have one for the Godzilla stuff other than this, but
I didn't because I only saw that like 2 days ago. So
yeah.
But I knew like when I saw it, I was like, oh, I got to put this on my best of list. So that was my plan. But yeah, find us on all platforms, and we'll see you next time. Next year, we'll see you next year. And until then, thank you. Fuck you. Bye.